Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record.
You know, I've been critical of you. I have a few things I want to talk to you about.
I know you have.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
No, I don't. That's why I want to get to know you today. I want to talk to you about mostly black stuff.
I get overwhelming support from the black leadership, young and old. Every poll shows me way ahead.
And black people saved your political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you. And one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are.
It doesn't make any difference what else you have. If you don't have some place to rest your head, you're in bad shape. Here in Harlem, the reason we say that housing is such a key problem, when you live in a poor neighborhood, you're living in an area where you have to have poor schools. When you have poor schools, you have poor teachers. When you have poor teachers, you get a poor education. And when you get a poor education, you are destined to be a poor man and a poor woman the rest of your life. Poor education, you can only work on a poor-paying job. And that poor-paying job enables you to live again in a poor neighborhood. So it's a very vicious cycle. And usually these bad housing conditions result from the fact, as Mr. Gray has pointed out, of absentee landlords, people who are rich and live downtown and let you and I live up here in the shack. Actually, it's a form of 20th century slavery. And what you and I have to let the man know is we are peaceful people. We are loving people. We love everybody who loves us. But we don't love anybody who doesn't love us. We're nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with us. But we are not nonviolent with anyone who is violent with us.
I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
The lynching record for a quarter of a century merits the thoughtful study of the American people. It presents three salient facts. First, lynching is color line murder. Second, crimes against women is the excuse, not the cause. Third, it is a national crime and requires a national remedy. From 1882, in which year 52 persons were lynched, down to the present, lynching has been along the color line. Mob murder increased yearly until in 1892, more than 200 persons were lynched, and statistics show 3,284 men, women, and children have been put to death in this quarter of a century. No other nation, savage or civilized, burns its criminals. Only under the stars and stripes is this human holocaust possible. Why is mob murder permitted by a Christian nation? What is the cause of this awful slaughter? This question is answered almost daily. The same shameless falsehood that Negroes are lynched to protect womanhood. This is the never varying answer of lynchers and their apologists. All know that it is untrue. As a complete and final refutation against the charges that lynchings are occasioned by crimes against women, a partial record of lynchings is cited. 285 persons were lynched for causes as follows: unknown cause, 92. No cause, 10. Race prejudice, 49. Miscegenation, 7. Informing, 12. Making threats, 11. Keeping saloon, 3. Practicing fraud, 5. Practicing voodooism, 1. Refusing evidence, 2. Political causes, 5. Disputing, 1. Disobeying quarantine regulations, 2. Slapping a child, 1. Turning state's evidence, 3. Protecting a Negro, 1. To prevent giving evidence, 1. Knowledge of larceny, 1. Writing letter to white woman, 1. Asking white woman to marry, 1. Jilting girl, 1. Having smallpox, 1. Concealing criminal, 2. Threatening political exposure, 1. Self-defense, 6. Cruelty, 1. Insulting language to woman, 5. Quarreling with white man, 2. Colonizing Negroes, 1. Throwing stones, 1. Quarreling, 1. Gambling, 1. In 1892, when lynching reached high water mark, 241 persons were lynched. The only certain remedy is an appeal to law. Lawbreakers must be made to know that human life is sacred, that every citizen of this country is first a citizen of the United States, and secondly, a citizen to which the state in which he belongs.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live episode on the forecast. Now, I just came to highlight y'all. It's been a couple days, so I definitely wanted to highlight y'all. And I got a couple of screen shares that I want to show. But before I get into the topic, first, make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel. Like I said, this channel could get quote unquote canceled at any time. So definitely make sure y'all stay subscribed to the backup channel. And shout out to my brother Ben. We planning on having that interview hopefully this weekend, or doing a tech show. So, everybody get y'all questions as far as like anything you want to know in the tech field and stuff like that. Because we're gonna set that show up this weekend. So we definitely got a couple things going on. But yeah, I'm trying to give everybody a chance to get in here before we get started. And I know I was gonna let my brother, he wanted to say some Black History stuff. And make sure y'all subscribe to my brother Bakari channel. You know what I'm saying? He was we just did a couple of shows, but one of them was about Black history. And we named a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying? And there's countless other people who did so much more. And that's the thing, we don't know real Black history. Even in the HBCUs, their courses, we don't know real Black history. And we'll relegate people to like, that speech was from Ida B. Wells. That was just one part of her speech. And we relegate people like that to being like what they just label her as. They call her a feminist. and we just take what they say like as just what it is, you understand? And we got to start doing our own history. And it's good that we have a movement of black students to go into HBCUs, and it's time to start controlling our curriculum. And you got to start from somewhere. So yeah, that was definitely a shout out. Yeah, definitely. What up, Jermaine? So, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat. I'm trying to give my brother a minute to get in here before we get started, so we don't have to go back off the topic once we get started. But yeah, like anyway, I'm not even gonna lie, like it still make me kind of mad that I still see black people out here talking about other people's politics, talking about Joe Biden and how we still got to stay loyal to the Democrats because those bad Republicans may get in there, as if we have anything to gain. And they're telling you to your face that not only are we going to disrespect you, we're going to give other people things over you. And especially a certain generation of people. It's hard to get through to them because they like, oh, well, the only way you can, make a change and make the racist people mad is by voting other racist people in there. Yeah, it may make them mad, but you haven't changed or done anything. Yeah, definitely. And hopefully my brother MG2 is here because it kind of relates to the topic and everything going on with America and with Joe Biden and the irony of all the things that's been going on while he's in office. There has been a Haitian president assassinated. There has been destabilization in the quote unquote Middle East. Now you see there's another war coming up with Ukraine and Russia and America trying to get involved in that too. And this is the whole point, this is a pivotal point right here. Like, and this is a golden opportunity that is right before us because all of these world politics is people positioning for whatever stakes they're trying to be in. You understand? People are positioning for power, and everybody is in that positioning except for us. We are still sitting here arguing about the same things we've been arguing about for the last 100 years. We let other people politics be our politics. Now, America politics is our politics. Even if you want to say that you are American, but your politics within America is not cohesive to be able to make these claims. So yeah, that's definitely relevant to the show. And Jermaine, when we get to that point, you can definitely come on here and talk about that too. Because everything is all politics. Even our lives is politics. Everything is politics. And we don't recognize how everything is politics. See, Black Lives Matter is considered politics. Yo, what's going on, Bakari? Yeah, what up, brother?
What's going on? Can you hear
Nothing
me?
much. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to shut my YouTube down. What's going on, my man?
Nothing much, nothing much. I'm chilling, my brother.
Sorry I'm a little late. I came in, I heard you talking about, I don't know, it sounded like you was talking about war, and this is a grand opportunity for us.
Oh yeah, well, I was talking about Jermaine said, did I hear about Russia and what's going on with Ukraine and America? And yeah, it that is kind of relevant, like relative to like the show we're gonna talk about. But yeah, I was kind of talking just to give you a chance to get in here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know you wanted to say some Black
I should have
history
did
stuff.
like you, man. I should have been on CP time late.
Yeah,
I'm just clowning, dude.
yeah, you all good.
You know, I'm just clowning, though.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's all good. But yeah, you say you wanted to say some Black history stuff.
Yeah, I know that ain't
before
what the
we
show
go.
was about, but you know, since it's black, I want to give somebody that we don't talk about that much. So what do I have to hit share and then pull it up?
Yeah, hit share.
Okay. What the hell?
Okay, I got you. There you go. Now your screen sharing.
All right. John Edward Bruce, also known as Bruce Grit or J.E. Bruce Grit, born February 22, 1856. He died August 1924, was an African-American journalist, writer, author, civil rights activist, and Pan-African nationalist. He was born a slave in Maryland. As an adult, he founded numerous newspapers along the East Coast, as well as co-founding with Alfonso Schomburg the Negro Society for Historical Research. He was born 1856, Piscataway, Maryland, to enslaved parents Robert and Martha Allen Clark Bruce. When he was 3 years old, his father was sold to a slaveholder in Georgia, and Bruce never saw or heard from him again. Now, you know, that is absolutely... I had to pause for a second. I know that happened, but I still had to pause for a second reading it. He and his mother fled to Washington, D.C., and later to Connecticut, where Bruce enrolled in an integrated school and received his first formal education. Traveling back to Washington later, he received a private education and attended Howard University for a 3-month course. After that, he never pursued formal education again. He was mostly self-taught. His career in Washington, D.C., 1879, Bruce and Charles N. Otley founded August Weekly newspaper. They decided the paper would be a fearless advocate of the true principles of the Republican Party and the moral and intellectual advancement of the Negro American. It was a time of flourishing projects in the Black community. Next, Bruce founded Sunday Item in 1880 and the Republican in 1882, both in Norfolk, Virginia. Hey, that's something for you to look up, man. You heard me, Cat?
Yeah.
That's your home state. That's your home state. The Sunday Item in 1880, the Republican in 1882, they're in Norfolk, Virginia. He served as an associate editor and business manager of the Baltimore, Maryland Commonwealth in 1884. Later that year, he returned to Washington, D.C. to establish the Grit. He earned income as a paid contributor to the Boston Transcript, the Albany Argus, Buffalo Express, Sunday Gazette, and Sunday Republic of Washington under his pen name of Bruce Grit. Bruce also became prominent on the lecture circuit, giving speeches that addressed lynching, the condition of Southern blacks, and the weak American political system that failed to protect the rights of Black citizens. In 1890, he joined activist Thomas Fortune's Afro-American League. See, when we go through this stuff, y'all can get his name and y'all can pull this up. See, I'm doing Wikipedia. That's just something to give you a start, and it's a great reference, a starting point, and you can find more about these people. But as you see, it's more names of people that we need to know about who put in work for our people.
Hey, Bukari, what's his name again?
Which one? The last person who I said?
Yeah.
T. Thomas Fortune, the Afro-American League. Now, this 1890, remember, you know how they say, well, Jesse Jackson in 1982, this 1890, what they say in the Afro-American League. The first organized Black civil rights group in the nation. He became the organization's new president in 1898 when it reformed as the Afro-American Council. Bruce was a member of the Literary Bureau of the Republican National Committee in 1900. By 1908, he followed the Great Migration to New York. There in 1908, he established the Yonkers, New York Weekly Standard. Beginning in 1910, he served as an American correspondent for the African Times and Orient Review of London, England, edited by Dusay Muhammad Ali. Dusay Muhammad Ali was a member of the UNIA. That was someone Marcus Garvey knew, but him and Marcus Garvey fell out. As you can tell by his name, he was Muslim. He started to go against not completely against Pan-Africanism, but he wanted Black people to be more into Pan-Islamism, Pan-Islamic, and they fell out because he thought it was okay to be second to the Arabs. That's how the story go anyway. But Dusay Muhammad and Marcus Garvey did learn some stuff about him, but he was in the UNIA and him and Marcus Garvey had, but he did stuff too. I think he was from London, England. In Yonkers, he also worked as a probation officer in 1910. Position on armed self-defense. During the American Reconstruction era, and after many Black leaders espoused nonviolent strategies for social change, appalled at the rise of lynching and imposition of legal segregation, Bruce supported armed self-defense against racist attacks. He is quoted as saying, "The man who would not fight for the protection of his wife and children is a coward and deserves to be ill-treated. The man who takes his life in his hand and stands up for what he knows to be right will always command respect of his enemy." He supported organized resistance to organized resistance. Okay, it can go on. We can talk about his later career, his marriage and family, but I just wanted to touch on that. I think that's a great Black history moment, a great Black history fact. John Edward Bruce, and if y'all want me to put his name in the chat, y'all can put a 1 and I'll put his name in the chat, and y'all can Google him and you can go down and you can get references and, you know, you can find other books.
Yeah, Bakari, you might have to put them all in the chat, and I'll probably try to put them in the description.
Well, you know, if I put his name in there and they Google him, everybody I came up, once you go, every name I mentioned is in his article about him.
Okay.
With his career, if you go down to his career, you'll see his work with these Black newspapers. You'll start to see his works. You're going to see the people that he met, talk about his later career in Puerto Rico, in the Caribbean, in Puerto Rico, in Harlem and Yonkers. Bruce became involved with the emerging community of intellectuals, including newly arrived immigrants from the Caribbean. In 1911, with Arthur Schomburg, do y'all know who Arthur Schomburg is? From Puerto Rico. He founded Negro Society for Historical Research. Do you know who Arthur Schomburg is? Forecast?
No.
Let me hit him right quick, then we can get on with your show. Because I know this ain't what you wanted to talk about, but I asked you.
No, it's good. Yeah, you can have more people if you got more.
Arturo Alfonso Schomburg. They have a library named after him in New York, if I remember correctly. Was a historian, writer, collector, and activist. Schomburg was a Puerto Rican of African and German descent. He moved to the United States in 1891, where he researched and raised awareness of the contributions that Afro-Latin Americans and African Americans have made to society. He was an important intellectual figure in the Harlem Renaissance. Over the years, he collected literature, art, slave narratives, and other materials of African history, which were purchased to become the basis of the Schomburg Center of Research in Black Culture, named in his honor at New York Public Library. Yeah, I thought so. Remember, I just said that, right? Arturo Schomburg. He was born in 1874. Schomburg was born in the town of Santurce. I guess that's how you say that. Santurce, in the capital city general of Puerto Rico, to Mary Joseph a freeborn black midwife from St. Croix in the Danish West Indies, and Carlos Federico Schomburg, a merchant and the son of a German immigrant to Puerto Rico. He was baptized Arturo Alfonso at the Church of San Francisco de Asís in Santa Cruz, San Juan, Puerto Rico. While Schomburg was in grade school, one of his teachers claimed that Black people had no history, heroes, or accomplishments. Inspired to prove the teacher wrong, Schomburg determined that he would find and document the accomplishments of Africans on their own continent and in the diaspora. Schomburg was educated in San Juan's Institute Popular, where he learned commercial printing at St. Thomas College on the island of St. Thomas in the Danish West Indies, where he studied Negro literature. On June 30, 1985, Schomburg married Elizabeth Hatcher of Staunton, Virginia. She had come to New York as part of a wave of migration from the South that would increase in its 20th century and be known as the Great Migration. See, they had three sons: Maximo Gomez. He was named after the Dominican military leader of Cuban struggle for independence, Arturo Alfonso Jr., and Kingsley Garneau Schomburg. His middle name was the name of a renowned Taino Indian cash. Have you say that word? After Elizabeth died in 1900, Schomburg married Elizabeth Monroe Taylor of Williamsburg, a village in Rockingham County, North Carolina. They were married on March 17, 1902, and had two sons, Reginald Stanton and Nathaniel Jose Schomburg. After Elizabeth Monroe Taylor's death, Schomburg married Elizabeth Green, with whom he had three more children. We're gonna look at let me just pull up the library right quick where I was talking about. Then we can oh man. Tripping. The Schomburg Research Center in Black Culture is a research library, New York Public Library, and an archive repository for information of people of African descent worldwide, located at 515 Malcolm X Boulevard, Lenox Avenue, between West 35th and 136th Streets in Harlem neighborhood of Manhattan, New York. It has almost from its inception been an integral part of the Harlem community. It is named for an Afro-Puerto Rican scholar, Arturo Alfonso Schomburg. But I just wanted to show that. John Edward Bruce, Bruce Grit, worked with him. John Edward Bruce. Okay, and Arturo. Those were two today that chose to speak about.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up, Bakari. Yeah, that's good. And yo, it's it's interesting. Like when you were saying he was like really doing what he was doing during the Harlem Renaissance. Yo, what's going? And by the way, what's up, Brandon? What's up, Erica, Raw, and everybody that came in? Yo, during the Harlem Renaissance, they started calling themselves the New Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, a lot of Black people did because they was on that. Like we're not gonna be like our ancestors fighting for civil rights. We gonna shoot back.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we gonna shoot back. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of life they was on. They was like really on that new Negro stuff. And I kind of like they generation on all the stuff they was doing. Like like on Red Summer and all that stuff was around that time, and it wasn't just Red Summer. It was like Red Summer because they was fighting back, not because they was just getting slaughtered. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you're
Yeah.
right. Now thank you for letting me mention those two names, my man. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
So now you can go ahead, man, and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
into your show. But I appreciate that since it's Black History. Had y'all heard of both of those people? I'm quite sure the people in New York knew who Schomburg was, but the people in the chat, were those new names that y'all had never heard of? Or did you learn anything new? And if you did,
I learned something. I ain't know them names.
and if y'all did, thank y'all for listening. And if you didn't, still thank you for listening.
Yeah, definitely, my brother. Yeah, anytime though. Yeah, that's I kind of like doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like we should do it like more than just for like because it's Black History Month. Just do it cause you know, or like at least have a time dedicated to it. You know, but
Yeah. Oh, let
it's
me say this right quick before you get into that. Talking about Black History Month. When someone tell you they gave us the shortest month, have you heard that before? Forecast. See, look, they made Black History Month the shortest month, right?
right.
I want y'all to understand. They did not give us the shortest month. The father of Black History Month, who created Black History Week, what is his damn name? You know, Carter G. Woodson.
Yeah.
He chose February. So now that I said he chose February, I'm going to let people see why he chose February and said that would be a good month. So they did not give us that. He chose this month. The black man that started it chose this month and said this is what it should be. So we have to stop giving them power over everything as if we don't have the ability to think about nothing unless they say this one y'all can do it. No, we chose. We chose February. And I want people, a black man who started it, chose it. So I want you to understand why. Look up and understand why he chose February. So when people like, I don't do that because they gave us the shortest month, once we study and learn, now we can tell people, no, they did not give us the shortest month. Carter G. Woodson, the creator of it, chose this month. Now I yield the mic.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And shout out to Carter G. Woodson. And he wrote a book on Black history in his time, going dating back to like, you know, what he went through history too. And you know, and like you said, like he because it was like had something to do with birthdays or something, right, Bakari? Um
Talking and on mute. Carter G. Woodson, appreciate that. Jermaine Thompson, on problem.
yeah,
Hotel
what up,
down
guy?
Hollywood. And by the way, peace, Brandon Baxter, Sister Queen Raw, Sister Eric, and everybody else in the chat. Carter G. Woodson wrote the book, the one that I read that I really love. I'm quite sure he wrote more than that one. Is The Miseducation of the Negro. Matter of fact, remember the last show we did over here on your panel, right? And the white, whatever it is, real life, tried to crack a joke and said, yeah, black women started cooking fried chicken to make a living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he put that in there and thought it was funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was so dumb, he didn't know. If we read that book, we'll see. And I know I mentioned it then, but I'm going to mention it again. Actually, when you see a gut truck going to these construction sites, actually, black people were the first ones to do that with the wagon. And he talked about how this one black woman created generational wealth. Her and her husband created generational wealth for their family, was the first fried chicken joint in the country. And they started with their wagon going out where people working in the fields. And it was so good, all the white people, especially the white people, was going to her. And they ended up with a chain of wagons, then a store where they was cooking their fried chicken. So he was trying to be funny. He, she, it, whatever it is. But while it was trying to be funny, thought he was saying something insulting because, you know, they stereotype us with fried chicken. And I'm not ashamed of that stereotype. I love fried chicken. But when you see it, you look at that up, you will see. While he was trying to be funny and thought he was being insulting, he didn't know he was telling the truth. Read that book, The Miseducation of the Negro. It's a few books we're going to have to go over, but that's another must-read, Miseducation of the Negro and Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. Now I'm going to yield the mic. I'm going to stop saying it, then cut you off. Go ahead, Forecast.
Nah, I asked you a question. You good. And yeah, but yeah, we'll get into the topic. Wait, hold on real quick. Yeah, Jermaine, I gotta read that book too. But yeah, yeah, he wanted to be all year around. But yeah, it kind of because all of this stuff kind of segues because Black history is really Black current events. You know what I'm saying? And anybody can get on here. We about to get into this Biden thing because I've heard older people, now I ain't gonna put it on older people, but there's a certain demographic because I remember during the election, like people was actually like calling in the shows like, oh, we being disruptive because we can't talk about Biden like that because we got to get Trump out of office and all of this kind of stuff. And even now, there are people out there trying to defend their position, telling me that, yo, we better do something or Biden's gonna get out of office. Well, it's too late for them. And the crazy thing is, because I don't know if MG2 is listening, but if he is, he talks about like how it's like a binge purge kind of society where all of these same events happen over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Where it's the same thing. They was talking about Republicans and Democrats then, except for Republicans was the Democrats. It was reversed. And it's this binge purge kind of society where the same things happen over and over. That's why, we're so ignorant to like history, just saying in general, that it really messes with us. And now we don't even study the people that are here doing the things that they're doing. We're just blindly saying we got to go out there and vote for them. And, and Bakari already talked about this. That's why, I'm not really, going in on it, like, straight to it. But yeah, Bakari, you already showed what Biden did, what Biden is offering the people now, right?
Oh yeah, go into it. We can't talk about it enough. Just because I talked about it, you can talk about it. Guy gonna talk about it. Shit, Team Black, we gonna talk about it. Go
Yeah.
in. I might have missed something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What
I
my
don't
French
know.
on your channel? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we about to get these crack pipes out here for racial equality and stuff like that. So first of all, let me just share my screen to see what he's trying to do for racial equality, his efforts to and we'll examine it if it's really for racial equality for real, because it's not like it's 1992, right? So first of all, now the GOP outraged at $30 million Biden plan to fund crack pipe distribution in effort to reduce drug harm. Now, already we know that the drug epidemic is not in our community if they trying to talk about reducing harm. But yeah, they're expressing grave concerns that a $30 million grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services could include subsidizing drug paraphernalia. So, government funded drug paraphernalia. Listen to that statement, right? Because how many people then got locked up for having drug paraphernalia? But government funded drug paraphernalia is cool. But, um, you know, if this president's plan is to address the drug abuse, our nation is in serious trouble. Because we understand who's actually out here dying right now. You know what I'm saying? But so they're supposed to be getting this smoking kit, a kit for getting high, for their meth and stuff like that. So he
The crack
explained
pipe
that,
kid.
yeah, a whole kit for the crack pipe. You know what I'm saying? The trailer park kit. Um, so they're starting it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be big in like West Virginia and like Tennessee, and I mean even here in Virginia, because it's not like outside of these cities and stuff like that. Like, people think like Charlottesville is bad, right? But if you honestly driving through Virginia, you better not stop to do anything unless you're strapped up, unless you get to like a city like Charlottesville. So, all those areas is gonna have a crack pipe kits. And they said it's to reduce harm. It's an American Rescue Plan. Granted, a grant program designed to help Americans. So, Bakari, you got something to say? Because they're trying to say it's not true. And by the way, this is all programs that use federal funding. So they're using our tax dollars, which is another issue why they're still getting our tax money after all of this Black history that we can show. But Yeah, Bakar, you want to say something before they try to correct it?
Like I said last night, right? We Asians got a hate crime bill. When I finish making these statements, y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all heard. Asians got a hate crime bill. Them Arabs from Afghanistan, they giving them 6.3 billion. They want to give it. The Guadalupes at the border down there in the cages, each one that was in a cage, 450K. They're getting reparations, bills. They gave black people, they giving black people $30 million worth of crack pipes.
No, drug kits with crack pipes in them.
Yeah, do y'all see a problem with that? And this is the person that our people rush to go vote in, right? I'm going to tell you something. A lot of our people, most of them, voted out of fear because we still operate out of fear and we don't control our emotions. We allow our emotions to control us. All the purpose of putting those militias all over TV, all over YouTube, every day during the election or coming up to the election was a fear factor. They really had black people thinking, and guys in the chat, Sister Roy's in the chat, Erica's in the chat, they really had black, it was a guy on my panel. We were doing a show together. They really thought that these people were coming. And I was like, so what? Let's get suited and booted if they come. You feel me? So they used fear. So now that he got voted in, when was the last time y'all seen one of those militias on TV? One of those militias on YouTube? You don't see them anymore, right?
Well, we got the lesser of two evils, bro.
But I saw them the other day, about 2 weeks ago now, in Walmart, about 5 of them together with their shirts and hats on. They looked at me, I looked at them. That's about it. Because I got my side piece. But we did get the lesser of two evils, but we don't understand evil is evil. So yes, Joe Biden, we might have the most evil. He might be even more evil because
The greater of two evils.
yes, he's the greater of two evils. Because you could see Donald Trump coming. Joe Biden is like that old fox. Go on YouTube and look at them fox messing with them chickens. And look how they just lay out there and watch. The chickens get nervous at first, then they relax. And then when they relax, that's when the fox pounds. And that's what has happened to us in this situation, dealing with Jim Crow Joe. I'll yield the mic.
Yeah, like we casted our vote and we voted for racism with a smile on. You know, we don't want the blatant in your face racism. We spoken and we want smile in your face, you know, stab you in the back kind of racism. But yeah, Bakari, they wanted to update and say that, and this, when I say a White House representative, this is what I'm talking about. But, and by the way, you know, and like I said, because this whole Ukraine thing, it got. That's why I hope MD2 is listening so he can come on and talk about that for real. Because all of this come into play. Because like, you know, we gotta look at all the things that's been happening since he been in office. But to keep us entertained, you know what I'm saying, you know, it's for us to do this kind of, you know, circus media thing. You know what I'm saying? He's saying stuff like this, so they want to clarify it real quick.
Thanks, Jen. HHS just put out a statement clarifying around some reports that crack pipes would be part of the safe smoking kits that are funded by the administration. But can you clarify for us, were they never a part of the kit, or were they removed in response to this reporting and this pushback?
They were never a part of the kit. It was inaccurate reporting, and we wanted to put out information to make that clear.
What is in the safe smoking kit?
A safe smoking kit may contain alcohol swabs, lip balm, other materials to promote hygiene and reduce the transmission of diseases like HIV and hepatitis. I would note that what we're really talking about here is steps that we're taking as a federal government to address the opioid.
That's what they call paraphernalia, other things, and that can help with the transfer of drugs into your system without being infected.
address the opioid epidemic, which is killing tens of thousands, if not more, Americans every single day, week, month of the year. We put out this statement, though, because there was inaccurate information out there, or I should say HHS put out this statement because there was inaccurate information out there, and we wanted to provide clarification on the allowable uses for the HHS harm reduction program. It's not a change in policy. This program, though, is focused on harm reduction strategies, including prioritizing the use of fentanyl test strips and clean syringes. And all of these harm reduction services that will be supported by these programs are intended to save lives from an epidemic that we know is devastating to communities across the country.
And then, so just to put a final point on it, does the administration support any effort then to distribute drug paraphernalia that we were hearing about?
The statement makes clear that we don't support federal funding, indirect or direct, for pipes.
And then on the safe injection sites that the DOJ is evaluating, was this
The safe meth houses that they're talking about.
an ask from the White House that they review that policy? Because I know that for years DOJ has opposed efforts to open safe injection sites.
It's under litigation, so I can't speak to that. But what I can tell you and reiterate is that the White House is committed, as I would reiterate for you, many Democrats and Republicans, including Senator Cruz, to taking steps to address the opioid crisis. This is not an issue that is inflicting just blue states. It is inflicting millions of Americans across the country, and it is important that we take steps to address it.
Just final wrap of those two items. What would you say to critics who are concerned that the Biden administration is somehow encouraging illegal drug use?
I think that it's important to step back and remember, just to put a little more of a fine point on it, that we're losing an American life every 5 minutes to overdose. We don't have time for political games. The president's focused on saving lives through harm reduction programs. That's exactly what we're talking about here. They work in red states and they work in blue states. We know they save lives. They help connect people to treatment and recovery. And they were endorsed this week by a bipartisan commission co-chaired by Senator Tom Cotton that examines steps we must take to address the devastating toll of overdoses. So what I would say is this is not a game. This is not a political game. This is an epidemic that is taking the life of an American every 5 minutes, and we need to work in a bipartisan way to address it.
All right, so mostly Europeans are, falling down. Now we see how she answered all of these questions, and she's actually right, because they like to be like, oh, look at the Democrat-run cities. Well, if you look at the Republican-run cities, that's where they're over there overdosing and, doing all kind of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, like, now they're kind of trying to show this bill as a crack bill and black people equated to us, but really it's not even that. It's for that quote unquote minority white person, that person of color, because everybody can be a minority or a person of color. And even that, they're going to put the crack pipe part on you, but take the federal funding and keep that part for themselves so that they can build their safe meth houses. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Bukhari, you got something to say about that?
They have been, you're right, Jermaine, in terms of white folk. They have been understanding that the opioid epidemic was destroying them. I did a show on this a few months ago. It's showing how they were dropping them off they were taking stuff to colleges and putting them out because white people were overdosing and to help them live, so I guess so it wouldn't be as bad. I don't know, but they have been trying to address the opioid crisis. Now they are not putting people. They wouldn't be putting people in jail. They address the opioid crisis in a much different way than they address the crack epidemic. One of them is a crisis. The other one is an epidemic. I don't know the difference. I might have to look that up. But it's an opioid crisis, the crack epidemic. And they were addressed completely different. I know somebody personally who deal with them white folks, and he got caught with all those pills and heroin and stuff for sale, right? Now, with crack, you just went to jail. With that stuff, all you have to do, don't care how much of it you have, just say you are a user. They had a plan for you to not go to jail. You go to rehab, and they were putting you in places to get you started over in society with a job. They were sending them to get skills. The person I know actually went and became a certified welder. That's how they address the opioid crisis. But with the crack epidemic, they put black people in jail. So I just always say, before I hear the mic, what are we gonna do? Now I hear the mic.
Yeah, Bakari, we're gonna go back and look at how these same people, not different people, these same people addressed the issue back then. But first, I want to show something because it's not even back then. It's how they address the same issue today, right now, right? Because I want to show y'all something real quick. We all know that there's a billion-dollar industry now. By the way, are they gonna charge any of these drug dealing, because they call them pharmaceutical companies, but these drug dealer thugs who's poisoning their own people, getting them addicted, are any of them facing 3 strikes, or the crack sentencing, you know what I'm saying, or the opioid sentencing, I should say, because they're dying off way more. Yo, what's up, Pelage? So let me share my screen real quick because I want to show y'all something before we get into that. Now, if y'all look at New Jersey hasn't issued a licensed black owner since they legalized weed. Now, I don't know how much money they're making in tax money and revenue and all that stuff from it, but now we see that it's legalized and millions of people are still locked up for the same thing. Now, this is under the same president, right? You know what I'm saying? So, not one of the 56 licenses have been gone to a black entrepreneur, because they also say that it's easy for black people to just get licenses. I mean, loans and stuff, but it is easy for black people to get house loans, car loans, debt loans. It's very hard, even though if you get a loan, it's a debt anyway, but to get a business loan, and especially for a business such as this, where you can make so much money, and there's so much money in that field as they make themselves, and these are the two brothers who they showing, and they tried to open the first black owned cannabis dispensary in West Orange, New Jersey, and these are two brothers, but you know we know who they've put the face on, because they've always used drugs, because everything is politics. This is what I want y'all to understand, that everything is politics. You know what I'm saying? So, like, who have they done it to Chinese for a while, but it ain't my problem. But they've always done that when they be like, oh, a black man on the poster is smoking a blunt chasing a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And saying that makes us we can't control ourselves, and we're destined to rape a white woman now. When it's them, oh yeah, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But they approved it in 2020 or whatever. And there's a long time racial disparity in weed arrests, and the toll has taken on black communities specifically, because that's what I'm talking about. It was averaging 95 possession arrests per day, or nearly one arrest every 15 minutes. Black people stood almost a 3-to-1 higher chance of being arrested on a marijuana charge in New Jersey than white people that year. They start talking about it. I'm trying to get to the part where they're trying to open it up. All right. So so far, not a single one of the licenses that have been awarded for cannabis businesses in the state has gone to a black entrepreneur. Based on the conversations, out of 56 licenses, none have been to a black person. And black-owned businesses have been trying to get into the state cannabis industry since 2012, when medical marijuana became legal in New Jersey. And just like back then, black entrepreneurs are being passed over now. No black-owned businesses received a license back then, and none has received one now. But they just keep saying the same thing over and over. So yeah, I just wanted to show that real quick. yeah, Bakar, you got anything to say on that part?
You know, when they first started doing that cannabis business, making it legal, that's why they made the price so high. It was once you had to have like $2 million. I don't know about now, but initially it was like $2 million to get in. And then you had to show proof that you didn't get any of your $2 million illegal. That's why they did that. Because they did it. They wanted to price, they did it to price us out. They did it to price us out. And since we know they did it to price us out, it's okay if we quit smoking weed and don't go to none of their dispensaries. I'm just throwing it out there. Every black person just quit smoking weed and don't go to none of their dispensaries. Hey, if we want them to change things, we're gonna have to change the way we do things. I hear the mic.
Yeah, my brother. And yeah, so yeah, that's not to get thrown off track. I just wanted to show that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like Bakar, you had mentioned the how they responded to the war on drugs. So I want to go back because some people not old enough to remember the war on drugs, or I mean, they understand the devastating effects that it had because you know a lot of people lived their life through it, but they're not old enough to remember what they were saying back in the day. So I'm gonna share my screen again.
Let me ask you a question while you're sharing. Was it a war on drugs or a war on black people?
Well, I mean, it's seeming that like it's a war because now is not the same thing, is it? It's not the same energy, huh?
Yep, it was a war on black people.
Yeah, in 1994, you know what I'm saying? We'll see how Joe Biden responded in 2022, where he want to give everybody a crack pipe and a kit so they can and some chapstick, you know what I'm saying, so they can be good, you know what I'm saying? So, but when it was in the black community in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Let's see how he responded back then to answer your question.
One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. I hope this crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime.
Hey, Bakari, that's another thing, because you said the war on drugs, but tough on crime. What is that? What is that for? What is he trying to say?
Tough on black people. You got to get tougher on black people.
Because the Republicans said they ain't tough enough since the 60s, because that civil rights book BS, you know what I'm saying?
You know, when he said the 60s and we talking about drugs, late 60s, early 70s, what were they, them hippies? Who was getting higher than the hippies?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe those dirty Arabs where it came from. I don't know.
Nobody was getting higher than the hippies. Go ahead.
All right, here you go.
The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill. We must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society.
It doesn't matter how many times we have killed them and forbid them have reading. It doesn't matter how many times we have destroyed their families. It doesn't matter the system that we create to imprison them in the first place, way before I was even born. It doesn't matter that we kidnapped these people and destroyed their whole history. Now they don't even know who they are. As long as they ain't around my drug addict son and my mom, I'm good.
Helping my son get higher.
Huh?
Helping his son get higher.
Knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons.
Now, Bukhari, who has done those things? Let me see.
Take on my sons.
Let me say
Pipe. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead.
Bukhari, who has knocked whose mother on the head with a lead pipe?
Knock the mama on the head, knock the kids on the head.
Knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up.
Who has shot our sisters?
The people, the one that's standing up there talking.
Up my wife, take on my son.
Shot my wife. I mean, who's done that?
Sons.
And
So
definitely my brother, take on our sons, you know what I'm saying?
I ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street. That's number one. And that is, unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally
I give myself some more time to go in on these Negroes.
Have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. I remember when it was going on, when I was making these arguments in the late 70s, they used to call Biden's same time for the same crime provision.
Now, I know this dude who just said, I don't know. We don't know how they're rehabilitated. We just can't let them out. Now talking about rehabilitation. I'm gonna play this one real quick, Bakari, and then you can
Former Vice President Joe Biden seems primed to be at the head of a crowded Democratic 2020 field. But his role as a leading architect in America's crackdown on drugs could be a major liability for his campaign.
I think the problem with Joe Biden isn't that he was a passenger on the drug war train, he was driving it.
In 1988, as chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Biden co-sponsored the Anti-Drug Abuse Act. The bill led to new mandatory minimum sentences for drug offenders and created a sentencing rule that led to stiffer punishments for crack cocaine users than those who used powder cocaine. In 1989, when then-President George H.W. Bush called for $8 billion to help law enforcement in the war against drugs, Biden said it was inadequate and called for stricter punishments for both drug users and dealers.
The president says he wants to wage a war on drugs, but if that's true, what we need is another D-Day, not another Vietnam, not another limited war fought on the cheap and destined for stalemate and human tragedy.
Then in 1994, Biden spearheaded the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, a bill that touched nearly every aspect of law enforcement and is credited for leading to a boom in for-profit prisons and mass incarceration. And while every other candidate in the 2020 Democratic primary supports marijuana legalization or decriminalization, Biden hasn't jumped on the 420 bandwagon yet. His position on marijuana itself hasn't wavered much over the years. In 2010, he said legalization would be a mistake, and he's been relatively mum on the issue since.
Any person today who is a serious candidate for any high elected office, who doesn't really look at marijuana, at least decriminalization, if not legalization, as what is needed in this country as a baseline, if somebody doesn't take that position, it's going to be really hard for them to convince people who have criminal justice reform as a top issue that they're a serious candidate.
Ed Chung, who served as a senior policy advisor on criminal justice, policing, and civil rights issues under the Obama-era Justice Department, says Biden can still make the case that his views have evolved along with the country when it comes to drug policy.
And the question is, what policies and what positions is he going to take now as president, and is it going to be a continuation of some of the things that was championed under the Obama administration?
But Collins says there's not much Biden can do or say that will erase the damage of his former policies.
It's one thing to apologise, right? I think it's very easy to apologise. It's another thing to actually sit down with the communities impacted by the war on drugs, predominantly communities of colour, and ask, should I become president? What can I do to repair the damage? The damage of mass incarceration, the damage of that tough on crime approach.
All right. So yeah, let me say this real quick, Bakari, because we see his policies has drastically changed. He's cool with giving out crack pipes and a whole kit to go along with it, and creating safe spaces for them to do drugs in. And now that it's not in the Black community, now he has this big change of heart, when it comes to drugs. But let me say this real quick, because this is one thing I do agree with Joe Biden on. It doesn't matter why they are like they are. It doesn't matter why they attack us. It doesn't matter why they did the things that they've always done to us. It doesn't matter what they say. It matters what they do. But it doesn't matter all of these things, because they need to be away from my mom, from my children, from my brothers and my sisters. We need to reclaim the streets. You know what I'm saying? Boy, go ahead, Bakari.
That's I ain't gonna say that's what we should say. It doesn't matter what they have done, but we should have the same mentality about we need to reclaim who we are. We need to reclaim our liberation. Can't nobody give it to us but us. We need to reclaim our education. We need to reclaim our communities. We need to reclaim being the best. Don't forget what they have done. Never forget that. But don't let it stop us from being great. Because we are great people. And it's time for us to show our greatness. Right now is our time. Right now is our time. It's our time. It's our time right now. And the more what's happening now, and the more we see what's happening, and the more of our people get to understand who Jim Crow Joe is, I think more of an opportunity for us to build something great. That's what I believe. They're going to try to keep their foot on our neck. It's time for us to stand up and take their foot off our neck. They're not going to do it. We have to do it. Don't make a difference. We can't forget. We have to have long-term memory. We have to have the same venom for them that they have for us. And y'all heard his speech. Y'all heard what he was saying. So that's the type of venom we need to have. We got to get past that. Everybody is the same. Everybody is human. We're all the same. No, 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 no. The same type of venom, the same vitriol. We at war. I want y'all to understand this is a war tactic. Everything they're doing is war, and it's designed to keep one group of people at the bottom because all the rest of the groups work together. And I'm saying, I ain't talking about the Hispanics. I'm talking about Hispanics, Orientals, Arabs. They all work with white folk. They all work with the top. They want us at the bottom. I yield the mic.
Yeah, that's how it's designed. But the lesser of two evils, though, Bakari. So we gotta get out there and vote or die. But I want to show y'all real quick why probably he had this change of heart. You know what I'm saying? Because he got all this smoke for quote unquote drug users and tough on crime. But what's up, Rashid? What's up, Jose? How y'all doing, man? But yeah, so since he's so tough on crime, let's see why. Probably the most likely reason he's softened his stance on that. So I'm gonna share this real quick.
My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became.
Hey, look how he put his head down when he said cocaine use.
Honorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None
became
of that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made
son,
a fortune,
my son,
and he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right,
dollars?
he wasn't given
All right,
tens of
but he
millions
was
of
given
dollars. That
tens
is
of
totally,
millions of
that's
dollars.
totally
We've
already been totally discredited.
Hey, NBC.
All right, so I mean, I don't know why Hunter Biden isn't doing 85% of his time. You know, because he's the drug. Like you just heard what Joe Biden said about drug users. You know what I'm saying? We know he wants them away from his drug addict son and his mom and stuff. But I agree. I don't want them nowhere near my kids and my mom. So I agree with that. And real quick, hey Bakar, you want to say something? Because I want to show you yesterday because we was talking about because Trump did it too. But you want to say something about that first?
Well, actually, the only thing I can say, you can look and see what's going on in Russia and everything in the Ukraine now, and you can see that Donald Trump, one of the greatest liars, but he was telling the truth about them having connection to Russia.
Yeah, facts. And that's what I was telling Jermaine earlier. And that's why I was saying I hope MD2 listening because we was going to get into that. It's going to lead into that eventually. But yeah, so let me show you this real quick. Now, Bakari, remember yesterday we were saying drug take back day. This is the next one. And they started this really under Trump, I think. Because now you can turn in your drugs and stuff like that. And they'll give you all of this kind of stuff. Now, I wonder if they had drug take back day back in the day. I don't know. But now that it's in their communities, I just wanted to show y'all that it's on April 30th. If any of y'all need to turn in y'all opioids, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, Bakari, yeah, you want to say something? Cause yeah, cause I want to, cause we gonna go ahead and get into that. So you know what I'm saying, we won't be on there long, but
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Drug take back day to show you have done all the drugs you want or whatever. Y'all ain't got to go to jail. Sound like gun buyback day or whatever, right? That's what it sounds like. But they try to trick us out of our guns and they want to take their drugs. Yeah, you see the difference? I hear the mic.
Yep. And you know what I mean? Like, see, and that's the whole difference. So we seen the difference that they have in smoke. It's not something that we you know, didn't know, but you know, it's just interesting to see the thing. But speaking of this little white boy who Biden is probably disgraced over because you know, his drug addict son. Let's I want to show y'all this because y'all kind of was mentioning it earlier, so we gonna kind of mention it now. All right, let me play this one.
President Biden's son, Hunter, he's being accused of using the N-word multiple times while texting with his white lawyer. Hunter reportedly sent attorney George Messiers a text in January of 2019 that talked about a big penis. He also told the lawyer, "I only love you because you're black," and true that, N-word, except he actually said the word. In another text just a month earlier, the younger Biden wrote the lawyer saying, "How much money do I owe you? Because N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates." There were several more references to a penis and the N-word throughout the leaked texts. Biden also reportedly kept a racist meme on his laptop of his father, Joe Biden, and former President Barack Obama. Now, this is a story.
I mean, apparently he's obsessed with black penises and stuff like that, but and black men saying the N-word. But yeah, let me play this.
Okay, I want to talk about something else that has bubbled up. The Daily Mail says that it has gotten these texts that it says are back and forth between Hunter Biden and his attorney using the N-word. Donald Trump Jr. tweets this: try to imagine one of the Trump kids dropping the N-word, real quote from Hunter, and then he uses one of the quotes from the text with the hashtag racist Hunter, Jason, which is trending tonight.
Well, it's disgusting. It is racist. Now, Joe, his father, and granted, it's a father and son situation, but Joe Biden calls Hunter Biden the smartest person on the planet. I understand he's had some serious addiction problems, but that still does not excuse the underlying question, which is, what was Hunter Biden doing in Ukraine, in China? What was Joe Biden doing at the same time while he was the vice president? What's going on with Hunter Biden in taking millions of dollars from foreign interests while his dad is in the highest of political office? That is still there. But these emails, they're disgusting. And it's shameful that we even have to talk about them. But he wrote them, so they're going to be out there.
I mean, we are having this conversation about race, about, language, about things that people say. I mean, we just talked about Senator Manchin being accused of being racist because of the way he plans to vote. And now we have these texts of Benny Johnson tweeting this: weird how everyone who screamed about racism and white supremacy for the last 4 years are completely silent about members of the first family, Hunter Biden, using the N-word multiple times along with racist stereotypes and memes. Isn't this what you have been waiting for? I mean, Leslie, isn't there pressure on those who've been out there saying, listen, we got to talk about these difficult issues, even if it's one of their own, that they have to be willing to come out and publicly denounce this?
But he's not one of our own. I mean, this is what kills me. And Jason, you would know this better than I because you served in Congress, okay? When Jason ran, his wife and children didn't. And his wife and children, in my opinion, and I don't care if they're adults or not, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, should be off limits. Now, if Hunter did something wrong, investigate it, indict him, arrest him. But even though the N-word is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, I don't care who is saying it to who, and I've had some people that I know that said to me it's okay in certain situations. I'm not okay with that. But Hunter Biden is not president. And even though he's the president's son, he is not running for office. He is not an elected official.
I think, Leslie, though, you speak honestly. If this was Don Jr. or Eric Trump, honestly, do you think that the mainstream media honestly to be all over it, and Republicans would be under pressure to come out and say that's disgusting and not okay?
Yeah, sort of like when Marjorie Taylor Greene kept making her Holocaust references, and it took days and even some weeks, and even some are still silent on the right. Not calling her out. This is what happens, and you know it, Jason, in both of our parties, Democrat and Republican. If we have somebody say something disgusting, the other side points fingers, and a lot of people in that party want to protect and want to stay quiet. And we need to just be honest and call it what it is,
Jason.
left or right. It's wrong to make a racial comment, an anti-Semitic comment.
Exactly. Exactly. Jason, very quick, we got to go.
That's not the way you treated the Trump children who were not part of the administration. And to suggest that there's something else there, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And his involvement in China and Ukraine.
All right, Bakari. So maybe because this white bitch said it, she said she don't want nobody. What's up, Tom to work? She don't want nobody using the N-word. So Bakari, they might listen to that white bitch. Yeah, but anyway.
Okay, wait a minute. Who you saying might listen to the white bitch?
The people you like don't listen when you like I don't like the N-word.
When I say, oh yeah, that white woman done said it. That white. Okay, yeah, we need to get that around YouTube. That white heifer, that white hoe, that skank done said it, right? That white bitch then said that black people shouldn't use the N-word. Should nobody use the N-word? Maybe a lot of people will stop saying it now, especially where they said, impeach the time to work. Jose, Sister Raw.
Yeah, and let me say this. I'm gonna let you go in on that real quick, but let me say this because it did bring up a interesting question, because he didn't answer the question. His involvement with Ukraine and Russia and what's going on over there. Now, this takes us, even though, you know, the N-word stuff, yeah, that's expected, but this brings us to real, actual social issues that do affect us, because we see what's going on and everything that's happened since Biden. Like, chicken has went from, like, you know, like 10 times the cost of it. The grocery stores are starting to get empty. When you look at Haiti, it got destabilized. The president got assassinated in his own bed. The quote unquote Middle East got destabilized. And, you know, the Al Qaeda or whoever the hell those dirty Arabs are, whatever name you can call them, all the guns they got left over there and the destabling over there. And now, when you look at the disabling, not only in America, but the disabling in Russia and what's going on with Ukraine and America's involvement in all of this stuff. And he did ask a good question because, like you said, Bakari, Trump might not have been lying about his drug addict son being over there getting millions of dollars. So, like, yeah, and that's why I was saying I wish MG2 was listening, or he was over here so I could hear what he had to say about it, and or anybody want to come on and talk about that part, you know, with the you know, real quick about the you know, what's going on over there in China, and not China, but Russia and the Ukraine, but also globally, because these are global issues. And notice how she said, when my party does this, we do it on both sides, because they stay on this code. They live by this code, but the code includes that your Negro life is nothing but a politic. But yeah, go ahead, Bakari. My bad.
No, you good, man. But you saw how quick she threw in there about some damn Holocaust. Well,
Yeah.
you know, when it's just Jewish Holocaust, when they was talking about. Oh, but you know what? It's a word. It's something that we should stop doing. But I'm gonna tell you something, right? Using that word, and especially it's everywhere. You use it in front of everybody. And for people who say they don't use it in front of everybody, and you're using it all over YouTube, you're using it in front of everybody, right? But I'm gonna show you something. You mentioned all that stuff that's going on that has happened under since Biden been the president, right? Then you mentioned, you said China, and you said no, you mean Russia and the Ukraine. No, look up. Can you find somewhere? Look up what's going on in the South China Sea. Look how every military, they're pulling up over there. Forget what they're fighting for. They're trying to fight China at China too, unless they don't pull everything from the South China Sea. Just you can Google that and show that too. That's since he's been in office. But the thing bothers me, and I'm being honest, what I don't like, when you pull up the South China Sea thing, and then you look at the whole world getting ready to fight. What race of people don't ever have a military to represent them? Ever.
The black countries or black people.
Black people, we don't have nothing that represent us. Even though we have black people in this man's military, but it don't represent us. It doesn't represent us. We are too dependent on the rest of the world. We are too dependent on the rest of the world to defend us, to protect us, to feed us. We allow people to come into our motherland and take the ones over, let people take all the resources, take it back to their country and sell it back to you like China was doing with the oil. So it's this one brother in Nigeria who's the richest black man in the world. I want to say the richest black person, but I don't know, it might, but I know he's the richest black man. I don't know if it's a black woman richer, but I think the richest. He's building the biggest oil refinery in the world. You're right, Jose, dependency. He's building the biggest oil refinery in the world in Nigeria because he said he's tired of people using them, taking their oil, refining it, and selling it back to them at a higher price. So since they have oil in Nigeria, a lot of oil, because we have all the natural resources on the continent, he's trying to get the whole continent. He's trying to get the whole continent to work with him and let Nigeria refine the oil from the African countries that has oil. So he's not just going to be hiring and bringing in people from Nigeria. He's going to be bringing in people from other African countries to come work at the oil refinery as well. My daughter's best friend is Nigerian. Her father is friends with that guy. So some stuff I say, you might not be able to find it in no newspaper article or anything like that. I can get it straight from them because I can talk to him. But that's what we have to do. That's what we have to want to get instead of complaining about colonialism, neo-colonialism, and all of that, right? We have to stop complaining. We have to grow up and be grown damn people and be strong and say, we gonna get involved in this damn world. Some people, y'all playing checkers and they playing chess. Well, we gonna have to get in this world chess. Actually, I see it as monopoly. We gonna have to be people in the world monopoly. Right now, we're just the board that people roll their dice on and look and see, we want to take this from them, and we allow it. We have to want to be players in the world, or the next 100 years, our descendants is going to be talking about the same thing. Oh, you talking about the guy in you talking about Jose J. Brown, you talking about the guy in Nigeria. I can't ever remember his name, but actually my daughter, yeah, because I talked to him. Like I said, my daughter best friend, father is friends with him, know a lot of the diplomats. Yep, you're right. What they did in Gaddafi, you're right, Jermaine Thompson. So we have to want to get into some of these. We have to want to become players in the world. Yeah, he say he's legit. I have to ask him. He say he did a lot. He didn't say he did a lot. But a lot of times they say, when you find them and people like he may be legit, but he was telling me, he said sometimes you have to deal with the crooked politicians. But he was also telling me this, that if African Americans come to Nigeria, the amount of opportunities, if we come there with money and want to do business, how we can get things less than what the Chinese are getting it for. How they will open doors for us if we willing to play their game. Now he was telling me that too, and he was like, look, if the Chinese can come over there, the Chinese come over there and put $200,000 and get something for $200,000, we can get it for half that price. He go back all the time. Actually, I want to take me back. But I yield the mic.
All right, yeah. We had two brothers just come on. So yeah, I'm gonna let them two brothers go in because and yeah, not too long either. Because I don't want to be here too long. But yeah, go ahead, Pelage, and then Jose.
Greetings, how you guys doing? Today I was having a conversation with one of my neighbors, single mom, just beautiful person, and she's a singer. And again, I appreciate you guys, like you guys' podcast. I always, sometimes I can never catch you guys. Sometimes I'm busy, but I think a lot of us, like Brother Bakari said, forgive me, I don't remember exactly word for word. It's like, those conversation, you don't want the next generations, your kids to have the same conversation we're having. I believe, for me, opioids and all those things you guys been talking about earlier. I didn't catch every single detail, but obviously, the rules, are made for us. They can have the opioids, the DUI, all those things, they're gonna come down on us the hardest. Like, for an example, Sha'Carri Richardson, she got banned from the Olympics. And like I said, there are a lot of things. For
Hey,
us,
Pelage, hey, just because you said that, I gotta shout out Sha'Carri Richardson. Like, if let's look at her, like what she always posts is only Black history stuff. Like, and she gets slack for it. So I gotta shout out her. But she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be black, and I'm gonna always be black. I don't care what y'all got to say about it." So yeah,
Exactly. Shout out to that. But my thing is though, you know, I don't know, like we are a great people. I've been having some issues with my family. Okay. Um, I've been talking to them in parable, and I said, I'm sick. I'm a sick individual. I'm sick. They don't understand when I say I'm sick. Globally, I believe Black people are sick. I'm sick, and I say this. I'm realized I'm sick. Now I'm healing myself. I want to get better. Like my dad is sick. Like we don't forgive ourselves. We don't forgive each other, but we quickly forgive, you know, other race. So to us, until we have to be willing to die, to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. We have to, you know, we have to do what. It's not that just the Haitians. There are countries in, you know, Brazil. There are, you know, there's people, you know, like provinces in Brazil, provinces in Colombia, who did what Haiti did before Haiti did. Okay, and they're not telling you about those stories. Palenque, Colombia, Dos Palmalo, Brazil. Yes, I'm Haitian, proud of that. But Haiti, and you know, was the third country that gained its independence from slavery. Okay, but they're not telling you guys about that. But you know, everything, it's a game. Like, you know, like you guys were talking about, like they know exactly the right type of Negro blacks to get the votes from the Southern blacks. You know, I don't hate anyone, and I'm gonna say this over and over again. I don't hate anyone, but at the same time, what happened to my people globally, the mistreatment, the enslaved, the raping, the murdering, I will never forgive that. I will never forgive that. And I will never forgive that. I don't care, you know what people, well, you're supposed to forgive, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to Jesus, and you know, fuck that. Okay. Because like right now, my neighbor today told me, one, you know, why doesn't Black people own the NBA, on the NFL? You know, and I'm sick and tired of us asking for justice when the people, for the same people that's killing our brothers and sisters. Well, let's have a march. Let's have this. Let's have that. You know, I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of like this is. I don't want to cast on you, show. I don't. But it's just, this is embarrassing, man. Like you have people like exposing this. You have people like twerking. You have people, and it's like we don't have time to twerk. We don't have time to, like, I mean, seriously though, man. Like I said, a lot of us have to, like, you know, seriously though, literally, it's going to be too late. It's going to, like I said, it's just crazy, and you know, I'm gonna say this: it has nothing to do what we did. Like, it has nothing to do with our conversation. So today, I went to this Haitian restaurant, and I decided I wanted to buy this beer from them, and I know it's gonna be expensive as hell, and I was going to take, you know, I mean, I wanted to do something like that, and because I want to support them and patronize them. And I know they made a little air, which is fine. You know, some of us find our oppression, and it, you know, and some of us are just like so deep into like just like brainwashed, like including my family. And it's sad, you know, the lack of like knowledge. You know, you have my father who's 75 years old. And it hurts me, man. It hurts me. You know, who's just praying to Jesus, and Jesus hasn't come yet. But listen, guys, I believe if I were to have 10 or 12 years, I can talk to anybody in the world. Now hear me out with this. If I have 10 or 12 years, I can make more sense than a coon, because I know what I want for our people. Our people are the most loving and the most forgiving people. Okay? But I think once we wake up from that sleep, we're going to realize we've been played, we've been duped, okay? We've been lied to. And we know, I can't get mad anymore. We know the justice system is not for us. We know about Hunter Biden. We know all this crap. And then, like, how dare him with the gall, with the audacity, when they ask, you know, Joe Biden, he's not my president, about like Sha'Carri Richardson. He should have just said, you know what, though, I don't think she should be suspended. Look at my son. My son should be in jail right now, serving life. Of course, he's like, well, the rules are the rules. It's just that they are what they are. But it doesn't happen to his son. But, it doesn't matter. Like, we need a representation we need a black leader, a black messiah. But we don't have that. We're too busy fighting amongst each other. Okay?
Hey, Pledge. I'm not trying to cut you off or nothing like that.
It's okay, brother.
Yeah, stay on, because I got to give my brother Jose a chance to go in, and then I
Go
want to
ahead.
show like another screen share too for the next thing.
Yes, thank you. I spilled some already. I spilled something in the chat. What do you think about what Mao did for China? I mean, his enemies are all about, murderers. He killed millions. But what if I tell you that those that he killed were the star sprinkled banner wave, or not? No, not star sprinkled banner. The Union Jack. That's the British flag, right? What if I tell you that those were the Union Jack waving Chinese people that he got rid of? The people when Mao wanted to move China forward, those people started marching. No, we want women's rights, we want gay rights, and democracy now. You understand? What if I tell you that Africa, and I mean Pan-Africa, needs a Mao cleansing, self-cleansing? What if I tell you? What is your thought about that?
I'll answer you. A self-cleansing. Well, there are a lot of people who say, that we need to cleanse. Well, to me, like, far too many. Now, I don't have a problem with people keep saying that, but my issue is we never actually get around to solving the root of the problem. So every few years, we got to keep cleansing our community, and then we stop there. You understand? So it's one thing to cleanse the community, but if you don't solve the actual issue, you're going to have to keep cleansing your community. And then we like, what about this black on black crime? Well, people are just going to say, well, we was cleansing our community. We was getting the bad people out. And that goes back to that whole argument, which I don't even want to go into no more about the coon thing. But, like I said, like for me, I'm more focused on the root of the problem, not that other people shouldn't call out people who do it, and because there's a place for that. I just for me, because I just try to stay in my lane, because I personally believe that we keep trying to solve the sneeze instead of getting rid of the flu or the we rather just, instead of the jab.
Can I respond to that, Jose?
Go ahead.
Can I respond to it, Jose? I'm gonna tell you something. That's why I love Idi Amin. People get mad at me when I say that. I love Idi Amin.
Yep.
I don't believe all that. I don't believe all that stuff they said about Idi Amin.
Not
Idi
true.
Amin, he had to kill some of his own who was his enemies. But before the first thing he did was all those foreigners in his country that was not paying taxes. And when I say foreigners, I want people to understand. He ran known black people from his country, don't care what country they were from.
Yep.
When he said foreigners, he was talking about
Indians, Jews,
Arabs, anybody that was not black. You couldn't own businesses. You haven't paid taxes. You ain't done none of that. So when people say, well,
72 hours he gave them.
Yep. Well, Africans were never together. I can find people now. As a matter of fact, I can probably get them to come over here who lived in, who will tell you they were kids, who can tell you about the Idi Amin era and how when Idi Amin was in charge, how once he ran them out, how he reached out to Kenyans, Rwandans, and other black nations and told them that they can come to Uganda and get a fresh start and open businesses. This brother is Kenyan. He said that's how they ended up in Uganda, because he reached out to other African nations. So sometimes you do have to cleanse, because you have to cleanse here, because the people that you're cleansing, they're the ones that protecting the root. You can't get to the root if you don't get to the ones that's protecting it. That's my take on it. I get it, Mike.
Yeah, and that's the difference, Bakari, because I'm talking about the people like we always say that only got the smoke for the black people, but that's something different when you're saying get rid of everybody. Let me if Pelez, real quick, Pelez, if you want to answer that question, then I'm gonna let Jose finish, and then we're gonna move on.
About Idi Amin.
About he's saying like, do you think what do you think about like us having like a racial cleanse? If you want to ask it right, I can't word it like exactly how he worded it, but basically how you feel about a racial cleansing within our own community.
I agree with that 100%. I'm not gonna say nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, all right, yeah, go ahead, Jose.
The cleansing. How did I get to that? The history of the Cape Verde Islands. We got rid of the Portuguese. We chose for a governmental system that China has now, right? A 5-year plan, and people, our people, my parents, among others, started crying about communism. Yeah, communism. We were the poorest of the poor, and the party. Amilcar Cabral was killed, but the party proposed land reforms. Take it from the colonists or the children of the colonists and spread it among the people. And my parents were against, it may sound dirty. If you think about it, it may sound dirty, but I'm not directly speaking about my parents because they were not on that intellectual level. But the people that kept my parents there, the people that put my parents against socialism and communism. I mean, socialism and communityism. But okay, we in the West, we're in our minds we are dirty, right? When we hear those two words, especially Americans, it's anti-socialism, anti-communism. But it was good for the poorest of the poor in Africa when those land reforms were introduced, and that was the trigger that made us in the Netherlands and a few in the United States, Cape Verdeans, start a political movement, and it jeopardized our progress. I'm sorry, it jeopardized this democracy thing. Is not for us. We are not ready. 500 years, we are damaged. We need at least 1 or 2 generations of a strict parent to re-educate us to care about our own issues first. Because now it's democracy, everything that we fight amongst each other are external things. It are the borders, it's politics, it's ideology. None of them that we fight over are ours. So there needs to be an intellectual cleansing. And so I don't know who Mao got rid of, but I would like to get rid of the educated fools. Like maybe not killing, but your ideology is European. Go to Europe. Lately, I've been dreaming about African countries, and I want to speak to you about this, Brother Bakari. The African countries together go to Cape Verde, cleanse Cape Verde. I mean, offer them either the boat or become African, and so that Cape Verde. Look at where Cape Verde is, man. We Cape Verdean are here in Rotterdam, and Rotterdam is the most important transborder shipment port in the Atlantic Ocean, maybe. You understand? But look where Cape Verde is, man. We can be distributor or a logistics center of the entire Atlantic Ocean. But IMF tells us, yo, do tourism, and we forget about having the largest natural port. And especially us here in Rotterdam should be ashamed. We call Rotterdam the 11th island, but we haven't taken back home this transshipment wealth. And that's it. Our mind, we're not right in our mind.
Yeah. And yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna have the next show I do is gonna be about this socialism and capitalism thing, and I ain't gonna get in on it right now. But Bakari, if you want to answer his question and like or what he was saying in
I just
the
want to ask
capitalism
one
thing.
question, right, Jose?
How can I contact you? Sorry. How can I contact you,
I'll
Brother
put it
Bakari?
in. You talking about me?
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat. My email.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll put it in the chat. So you think socialism and communism is good for black people?
Socialism. I mean, we talk about group economics. What is group economic other than socialism, bro?
Okay, okay, you're right. Now let me ask you this, right? For me, right, I don't believe the socialism concept, communism. I'm more of a, I believe in Garveyism, which is group economics. But I understand Garveyism is use what we have right now to build what we want. Capitalism is what we have now, right? So I believe in using what we have to build what we want. I'm not saying whether socialism is right or wrong. I'm gonna still practice communism. Let me say, I'm sorry, Garveyism, right? That's me.
You know, maybe Garveyism is national socialism. You know,
Garveyism is like
to be social only among our own.
Yes, it was socialism, capitalism, and all that combined. It was a system, and they dubbed it Garveyism. But that's what it was. They used capitalism to create social program for its own. They fed people. They built schools. They built businesses, and they had. You understand? They built clinics, nursing schools for the women. Because back then, that's who were the nurses way back. Back then, you wouldn't gonna see no many male nurses way back in the early 1900s.
Yes.
But that's what they did. So what you just said, Garveyism can be national socialism for us. And if you look at what Garveyism did and what they built,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and you know what? Either on Bakari's channel tomorrow, I think, or this channel, tomorrow, I think we should have this this conversation, or this whole conversation, because there's a lot of stuff. Because I can go into it, and I agree. Like I can't go into the like Bakari can about what Marcus Garvey plan was and what he was doing. But I agree with capitalism with the socialist safeguards to it. But like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. But yo, real quick, so we'll be on here for like 3 hours. I'm gonna show y'all one more thing because we kind of left off on the white boy Hunter Biden
let me say this right quick.
Go ahead, my brother.
Jose, I put my email. Whoever, my email is in the back chat. I'm gonna put the group email in the
Yes.
public
Thank
chat.
you. All right. Copy pasting right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. But yeah, we left off on Hunter Biden and him saying the N-word. And Bakar, you kind of touched on this topic too a little bit. So I just wanted to, since we was there, you know what I'm saying, play this real quick and get all of y'all thoughts, and then after that, let me see.
By podcasting giant Joe Rogan apologizing for his repeated use of the N-word.
The most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly.
Rogan sharing his apology just as Spotify reportedly pulled dozens of past podcast episodes from its platform. NBC News reached out to Spotify for comment, but has yet to hear back. In recent days, a compilation of Rogan clips edited together to show the podcast host repeatedly using the N-word has been circulating on social media, shared notably by Grammy Award-winning artist India Ari, who wrote on Instagram, "I have decided to pull my music and podcast from Spotify. I find Joe Rogan problematic for reasons other than his COVID interviews. For me, it's also his language around race." Last week, it was Neil Young and Joni Mitchell removing their music from Spotify over Rogan's comments about COVID and their claims that he spread misinformation. Rogan has since said he's not trying to spread misinformation and would bring more balance to his show in the future. Rogan says it's been years since he used a racial slur and is now apologizing for saying it.
I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now.
It now remains to be seen if the apology will be enough. Guad Venegas.
All right, hold on, let me play one more real quick.
Up in the end, Pete, with I said it's a coordinated attack.
Apologizing recently, and Donald Trump chimed in on this late last night with a statement. I want to get you to react to it. Trump said, Joe Rogan is an interesting and popular guy, but he's got to stop apologizing to the fake news and radical left maniacs and lunatics. How many ways can you say you're sorry? Joe, just go about what you do so well and don't let them make you look weak and frightened. That's not you, and it never will be. What do you make of this advice?
Okay, so one of the things I appreciate about Joe Rogan as a listener, and I do listen, Pete, is he's earnest. I think he truly wants to be a better person, always learn, always evolve. And when he apologizes, I generally think that's coming from a very earnest place, not a place of surrender, for example. But he needs to understand this is like, and I'm trying to struggle for the right analogy here. It's like, well, honestly, it's like being in war and your opponent who's looking to kill you, giving you advice along the way. These aren't real criticisms. Their criticism of him is not earnest. They don't believe he's a racist. They don't even care about his vaccine stance. They simply want to kill his independence. And one of the lessons we learned from Donald Trump, and I think that remains today, is always stay on offense. Don't apologize, because it's not a fair game. They're not looking to actually help make you or this world a better place. And I'll tie this up in the end, Pete, with I said it's a coordinated attack. Go watch, and if you haven't, Pete, go check it out. You know, the president of Barstool Sports confronted three guys who were looks to be behind this attack on Joe Rogan. It's a coordinated political attack. The videos coming in waves at 3-day stages. And by the way, it may not end. They'll move on from here to whatever, sexism, misogyny, homophobia, whatever's next that they think can get or catch or cancel Joe Rogan.
Which is why something like Rumble is so tempting, the idea that you have a real free platform.
All right, and first, before I get y'all thoughts on that, yeah, they NDRE kind of walked it back, and she was like, yeah, she kind of made excuses for him, talking about he's not racist and all of this kind of stuff. And let me say this too. Of course, I don't agree with Donald Trump, but I do agree with the not apology thing, because they're telling you, they're showing you how you stay on code, you know what I'm saying? And they are unapologetic about how they feel. But it's only us that's apologetic about our blackness. Oh, not all cops is bad now. All lives matter now. We the only ones that's apologetic about our anger, that I'm not the angry black man. You know what? I am angry because I'm in a society that has been built and we don't control anything. My face ain't on the money. It's people that would have killed me. You know, I'm definitely angry about that. Well, yo, I want to hear y'all opinions about all of that. And by the way, yo, with Joe Biden too, because I meant to mention before, like, you know, because they start talking about the anti-vax thing, you know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing. Because not only has it been destabilization across the world here in America with the whole shot thing, and this is destabilization here too. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Bakari, then Pelej, then Jose. So yeah, y'all go ahead.
Once again, forecast, you know how I get down. It ain't never what they do, it's what we do. Right? You mentioned NDRE. Let me play something for you. Let me play, because it's not what they do, it's what we do. I don't care how they feel about me.
Prince, Houston OG, really others feel that no one except us as a black community is allowed no exemptions. Well, Joe Rogan went on and apologized, and he went on for the 3 minutes and said the reasoning as to why, and people forgave him or not forgave him or whatever the case may be. But Jay Prince, Houston OG, rap OG, somebody that's respected out here in the hip hop community and the culture, definitely without question one of the most certified that we have in the hip hop community, came out on his Instagram today and had this to say about Joe Rogan in particular. He said, Joe Rogan is not a racist. I know this brother. It takes a sincere individual to admit when they are wrong and have fucked up about a situation. As you can hear, he's done, and that I forgive him because I never want to become one of those people that are filled with unforgiveness and hate and complain about all the time. Let this be an example to others of the sensitivity of the word quote unquote nigga being said by anybody other than a nigga. Laugh out loud. So the OGJ.
So now for me, right?
Wait, Bakari, who said that?
It's Jay Prince.
Okay, go ahead.
Hip hop mogul, owned Rap A Lot Records. He was a boxing manager and promoter. He used to manage and promote Floyd Mayweather Jr. He Andre Ward. So it's never about what they do. See, I'm gonna tell you something. I show what white folks say and do, or what any other group of people say and do. The bottom line ain't them. All these other people doing what they supposed to do. We the ones who not doing what we are supposed to do. We are the ones who not doing what we are supposed to do. NDRE backtrack. She'll be okay with it as long as she get her check. Basically, that's what she said. Huh? Jay Prince, this big gangster. Real bad when it come to black folk. But look how quick he come and take up for that. I keep telling you, we have smoke for each other. It's never what they do. It's what we're gonna do. And now Rumble and offered him $100 million to leave Spotify and come work with them. I hear the mic.
All right, go ahead, Pelej.
Brother Bakari, man, what's up? I agree with you, man. Like in the last few things you said, brother. I'll just add a few things, man. No, no disagreement at all, brother. You know, when you said we have this smoke for for all of us, like our brothers and sisters, but we never have this smoke for them. I agree with you on that 100%, my brother. For me, the N-word, like I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. I don't give a fuck what, excuse my language, I should not have curse in you podcast. I don't care. I don't care what a white person or whomever. I don't talk like that. I can't be emotional about something like that. I don't care if you say that on the front of your confinement in your homes or wherever. Now, if you put me in a corner, if you directly talking to me and touching it, then that's a different problem. We get too emotional about these things, you know. when this guy, I watched the clips what he said. Oh my gosh, yeah. We're in Philly, blah blah blah. We were doing this. We wanted to like we have this cab, or he barely speak English and stuff like that. Well, that's right there is like racist right there itself, bigoted. And he said like, oh, is that a good neighborhood to watch this movie? He's like, oh, this is in a black neighborhood. It's like we were watching the Planets of the Apes. No. We are in the Planets. We were in Africa. But again, this is what we don't understand, black people. Is this like, yes, Amasa, this is why I agree with you, brother Bakari. Whoopi Goldberg got suspended for 2 weeks for not insulting anybody, not offending anybody, saying like the Holocaust, whatever. The Holocaust was not about race. It was white on white crime, which is she was 3,000% correct. Okay. Like, listen, man, let's see, I have like what? How many beers I drink like 4 beers right now. And I'm making a lot of fucking sense in a lot of intellectual people, and again, I just cuss again. But, my thing is, what did she say that was wrong? What did she say that was wrong? Now, you can have somebody from Sudan, from Cameroon, from Haiti, from Brazil, black. They would label us as the same. Okay? Now, follow my drift. I know I'm long-winded, but, the only way we're going to get out of this oppression, the only way we're going to set free, I believe we need to be put in a situation, until we have to force to work together. We are the best. We are the original. We are an amazing people. We are the most forgiving, the most human. We are the best on the basketball court. We are the best on the football field. We are the best on the relay team, on track and field. I love our brothers and sisters. I do. I really do. But we need help. Some cleansing needs to happen. I yield my mic.
All right, yeah. My brother Jose Bronze.
Yes, thank you. Agreed. I feel our pain. I felt our pain when Pellich Bolivar was speaking. I am the son of I am the narcissistic supply of a covert narcissistic mother, and I see so many how do you call it, similarities in this relation. So you keep expecting. I am molded. So I am molded in just like we in the past 400 to 500 years. We were molded into this reaction that we have today, right? And maybe we are just as strong. We don't see a threat in nothing, but we have survived floods. We have survived meteor rains. We have been here, and we have been surviving everything. And now the threat is something, not someone, something that looks like us, right? With another, his hair and his skin is a bit different. But even now, we don't see the threat, but we are in an empath narcissist relation. We are in a toxic relation. We keep expecting this thing to be like us. We keep hoping that we can do it together. We keep hoping that this narcissist will realize how evil it is and that it will stop. No, it won't. It won't. Because why is this narcissist a narcissist? Because this narcissist has nothing. This narcissist is hurt, right? He woke up. He became conscious as last member of the human family, and he saw temples in the east. He saw pyramids in the south. He saw pyramids in the west, and it broke him. It broke him. He got angry and he destroyed everything. And now no one knows who he really is, right? And that's what narcissists do. Narcissists don't lose, they destroy. Look at what the United States and European countries are doing. China comes up hardworking. China is making business partners. He's not making junkies out of other countries, dependent of China. China is doing fixing the logistics that the colonizer never did, or that the colonizer even destroys, because that's what he still does till this day, and we don't see it. Afghanistan destroyed, Iraq destroyed, Libya destroyed, the exact same way. The narcissist / devil is not creative. He isn't. He hates it when you eat, so he destroys your crops. That's what the narcissist does, right? And we keep hoping that he is like us. Cut off, drop the narcissist. And that's in real life, that's the solution also. So there's two solutions to get rid of the narcissist. One is called gray stoning, and that means yes, 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 and you listen to him, but it flows out the other ear. You do nothing with what he tells you, or no contact. And I'm for no contact. Just leave his countries, stop dealing with him, don't sell or buy from him, nothing. He just stops existing, and this narc, this Benjamin in the human family, will die out because his genes are not strong. Nothing. We don't need to shoot him. We just leave him, turn our back to him, close all our windows when he comes knocking. Just that's it.
Yeah, and you know what you said something there powerful, my brother Jose. Hold on, let me put the link in there for my brother, for brother supremacy. And Bakari, because Bakari and Pelej and everybody in the chat heard me talk about it, because I take it a step further. I like even further than the narcissist thing. I call them what they are, like the psychopaths that they are, because there's no feelings or even any of that other stuff. I know what you mean by when you say a narcissist, but they're even on a more extreme level than that. You know what I'm saying? Where they get pleasure out of seeing our destruction. And even with this situation, just to make it about this situation with Joe Rogan, right? Like, Negroes are basically like those battered housewives that got smacked in the face, you know what I'm saying? And we're like, oh, well, it's not that bad. He didn't mean to hit me that hard. It's going to be all right. He's going to stop doing this one day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be a problem. Maybe I did something wrong. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that, my brother. And oh yeah, well, yeah, you're absolutely right on that. It's a better issue, and it is very similar, because it's not but the thing is, it's not just that narcissistic person. It's usually codependents who come with the narcissist. You know what I'm saying? People who are enablers, or people who are just as sick as the person who is doing the
word.
Yeah.
Yes. As narcissistic supply, and the overt narcissist, he's okay, that those are the artists and the Trumps and whatever. But the covert narcissism is the psychopath, bro. The covert narcissist. But I am so self-critical that I also going to the same conclusion. Me as narcissistic supply. In the meanwhile, I am also a psychopath. Why do I stick with toxic relations? Because I'm sick. Because I also have something narcissistic. You see this narcissist kill you each and every time, but you stick to your belief that you can change him. So yes, I am also sick and close to covert narcissism, because covertly I think I can change these people.
Right.
You know. So yes, brother, you're right.
Yeah.
Can I say something right quick? Can I say
Yeah, go
something?
ahead. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think is narcissism a psychopath. I think it's them steady punking black people. What y'all gonna do? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. I'm being honest. It might be narcissistic and it might be psychopathic.
Yeah, that's what they do though. That's what
But in the
psychopaths do.
process, they're doing it. They only do it to one race of people. They don't do it to nobody else.
Yes, that's what I tried to say. I
They do
am
it to
also
one.
sick. I am
That's
also
why.
sick.
That's why I say eventually we gonna have to look in the mirror and say, what are we gonna do? Because they don't talk about. They don't treat other people like this. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, right? I was at this job. First came to Atlanta. There was a lot of Mexicans. Mexican gut truck used to come in. All the Hispanics used to go eat the Mexican food. So the company took the contract from the Mexican and gave it to a Korean. She came out there trying to sell Mexican food. She literally lasted 1 week because wouldn't nobody go to her. None of the warehouses where the Mexicans were. Going to the black neighborhood, Orientals and everybody. Anybody can just open up a soul food restaurant and black people go. Anybody. And don't nobody go to black businesses. Eventually, we're going to have to stop saying what they are and start thinking about what are we? Is it still really everybody else or is it us? Because if you sit back and let somebody constantly treat you like that, it's not even them no more.
It's us. It's us.
They might be not.
I as an empath can guarantee you it's me. I can do magic for you. I'm a magician in marketing, but I cannot sell myself.
You know,
You understand? So we are sick. Yes, we can do anything for the white man, and when it comes to us, we're incapable.
Yeah, they're narcissists. They're psychopath. They anything
But
else.
it's us. But it's us. It's
But
us.
then
It's
the
me.
next question is, what are we though? That's the
Yeah.
question we don't want to answer.
But
That's what I try to touch on. What are we? If
yeah,
they are all that and they only treat one group of people that way, what are we?
but I think that's kind of what he's saying, because that's the other half of it, and I agree with you 100%, Bakari, and that's the other part of it. What are we? We are the part that's the codependent, that's addicted to this toxic, sick kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We are sick. You know what I'm saying? We aren't doing nothing because we are sick. And when I be saying this psychopath and narcissist stuff, even though I use the word psychopath, I'm talking about us and our response to it, not necessarily them, because you can't reason with the psychopath. You can't explain nothing. Why you don't, why they keep doing it? Because you don't punch them back in the face. That's the only thing a bully understands, is getting punched back in the face, because they can understand that part. You know what I'm saying? They're not stupid. They're repetitive. They're not creative, but they're not necessarily stupid. And they realize keeping you stupid will, make sure that it is what it is. But we aren't striking back because of what they're doing. But yo, my brother Supremacy came on here, so I'm gonna let him go, man, and then we're gonna keep going with the conversation. Y'all can, either one of y'all can say whatever you want. It'll be an open conversation after Brother Supremacy. But what's up, my brother?
Okay, yeah, peace, man. How's everything going with you, bro?
I'm good.
Okay, definitely. Man, I always enjoy your shows and all that, man. I try to never miss like not one of them because they're so informative, and I like all the relevant topics and stuff like that. The issues that you speak upon. I am not very well educated in what has been discussed up to this point, but let me say, peace to Brother Bakari, Jose Bronze, Page, Bolivar. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yeah,
And
Pelez.
peace to everybody listening and watching and all that type of stuff, man. I'll definitely try to contribute a little bit to the conversation, man, as things as things continue. So I'm not sure, like I was telling you in the chat room, of exactly what's been showed. I'm not that familiar with this Joe Biden and crack situation, or
Hey, he giving
even
out
or the other situation that you were just
yeah, he giving out a kit
speaking
with
upon.
crack
So
pipes
I'm
and
gonna
like
definitely listen in, and I'll try to contribute something as more information. But go ahead, bro, if you want to break
no,
it
no,
down.
I was just saying, he talking about giving out crack pipes and what else was it? Is a kit. They come with like I don't know, lip moisturizer and everything that
Wait
make
a second. Wait. He's talking about giving out crack pipes.
yeah, he want to put $30 million in tax money and for racial equality.
Wait a second, man. Where'd you get this information from? That just sounds just outlandish, man. I gotta
All right, hold
take a
on. I'm
look
gonna
at
share
this
my
item.
screen, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Then after this is an open conversation, so all of y'all can jump in. But let me share
Okay.
my screen. I'm gonna just show you the article. I ain't gonna go to the video. All right.
About this. You guys know the Netherlands is very progressive. Has been the most progressive country concerning drug use, right? Do you know that these free areas, where you can use where junkies can use drugs and even get assistance, in here they served as gentrification tool. The places, they started right in at the central station, and there everybody could see how dirty it was, how dirty it looks. Broken people, smelly people hanging around looking for pieces of cigarettes, looking for, it was ugly to see it, right? And they called it Perron Zero. So right at the central station you have more lines, and those lines are called Perron, right? And that was Perron Zero, so less than one. And people, of course, people started complaining because everybody needs to go to the station. Your granny and your children need to go to school. Everybody passes there. So people started complaining. Then they moved it to the neighborhood where a lot of our people lived, right? A couple of those neighborhoods, and where we used to live, me and my parents. Right now, it's trendy for whites to live there. We were, my parents were sort of tricked out of those homes. And when I was looking for a house to buy, I went in the same neighborhood, and it was they sold it for 80,000 guilders, right? 80,000 guilders. €1 is 2.2 guilders. I went looking for that same building where my parents owned, and it was almost €1 million. So that's almost 2 million guilders, and they were forced out of the house, selling it for 80,000 guilders. You see, so and they used those I don't know how you call it, but a space, a building, or a quarter, or a piece of the park where junkies can hang around and use drugs, right? Well, here they used it as gentrification space. Even the how do you call it, the nose of the salmon, the Manhattan from Rotterdam, it got cleared off of Chinese people and other foreigners using this way, this method. So that space was also for 1 or 2 or 3 years. It was a safe zone for users, and now it's skyscrapers, and even Madonna has a apartment in one of those flats. You understand?
Yeah. They pretty much just used it for to lower the property value, and then got the land and then built it up.
Right.
Use gentrification things, and then and this isn't necessarily to us because they we went through, like, and I'm pretty sure Brother Supremacy, you remember what he said about the Crime Bill '94 when the drug problem was in our community. But now that it's in their community, he put $30 million to, they call it crack pipe distribution. But, we went through it, and there's a lot of stuff in there. I can't remember exactly what was in there, but it was a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that real quick.
Okay, definitely, man. I mean, what I'm wondering, I mean, wow, I thought, crack cocaine was illegal. I'm surprised up to this point, man, Joe Biden hasn't been assassinated. Seriously, because really the country, look at what, the direction that he's taking this country in. I mean, man, this country is already going in the wrong direction, beginning with Obama. And I'm no Republican because I don't even believe in white man politics, whatsoever. But the thing is now, like, I remember growing up, and black people just had a higher standard, a way that we used to carry ourselves. And it's like nowadays, man, this push of this LBGTQ movement. Like, I talk to a lot of the youth, like 11, 12-year-old brothers and sisters, man, and they don't have that same low tolerance for homosexuality. But when you were talking about the Jews or whatever the other day, man,
The kikes, my brother.
I feel like this is the new Holocaust. They doing the same thing that Hitler did. The way Hitler used the media to push this propaganda, to get all the German people, to demonize the Jews, you know, in front of the German people, which in turn made it easier, for German people to be able to accept them being murdered. So I'm looking at, they're turning around and they doing this same thing to our community. Now we accept interracial relationships, homosexuality. You can't even speak out against these things without getting canceled. You see what I'm saying? So, man, it just shows how the media, propaganda, the political system, all of that is just being used as a tool, man, to just destroy us mentally. But I'm gonna pass the microphone on that because, like I said, I wasn't here from the beginning, so I'm just trying to pick up as we go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whoever's next, go ahead.
No, yeah, you doing good, my brother. And I mean, it's another screenshot after this, but it's not long. So then we'll close out. But yeah, it's Bakari or Pelej or any of y'all want to finish this conversation first. It's an open conversation. Y'all can just jump in.
Well, black people get their reparations. They got $30 million worth of crack pipes. Well, everybody else. I done already spoke on this, man. We did a show last night. It was an excellent show. We doing a show tonight. It's an excellent show. Shit. Black folks getting $30 million worth of crack pipes and Guadalupe's in the cage, getting $450K a piece. The Afghan getting 6.3 billion. Asians got a hate crime bill, but we strolled to the poll. We took the booty to the poll. We got the soul to the poll. Any kind of slogan you can think of to go vote for this bastard because he's a Democrat. That's what we did. I'm going to go back. It's always why I believe they are doing what they're supposed to do. We are not. And it's just that simple. And we think of reasons why we shouldn't come together because as long as we don't come together, one of us might be able to get a piece of that crumb. Not even a whole crumb. You might be able to get a piece of the crumb from their table. That's That's one of our problems, man. That's the biggest thing, the worst form of colonization that has ever happened to us is the colonization of our mind. We can talk about people in the lands of Africa. We talk about how they were colonizing. We look today and say neo-colonialism. But look around the whole world, we are colonized. Like I said last night, go to any hood in your city, any hood in the United States. Everybody, your hood, since that's what we call the black neighborhoods, the hood, your black neighborhoods is being colonized by the Orientals, by the Arabs, by the East Indians, and now the Hispanics have come in and getting their stamp. And we are the only people that still constantly fight one another publicly and think of reasons why we shouldn't work together. While we are colonized all over the world, we are colonized mentally and physically all over the world. You might not want to call colonization here because it is being called colonization here, that you're putting yourself on the level of other black people, especially the black people in Africa and black people in this country don't want to do it, but it's absolutely colonized. Your communities, black people communities in America is colonized. Black people brains colonized all around the world. They are doing what they're supposed to do. We are not. I yield the mic.
Yeah, facts. Pelez, you want to say something real quick, and then
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna say my brother's name again. Colonize, brother Bakari. That's again, 100% agree with you, man. I I don't want to sound cocky and arrogant. I had a few drinks, and I understand, and logically, I understand logically. I have the wherewithal, to understand where I am. Like Dr. Neely Fuller said. I'm sorry, I'm saying Dr. Neely Fuller. Maybe he is a Dr. Neely Fuller. Maybe he has his doctorate. Um, you know, our skin is our uniform. Okay. I like I said, I thank the ancestors for giving me the ability to be able to unlearn what I've learned. Growing up, being born into Christianity, knowing what I know now, knowing all the lies, knowing all the deceptions. And for us, it's hard to get away from that. It's hard, for me. And you guys know the synopsis of this story. You guys know I have a son who I had, with a white woman, stuff like that, who all those things, and their lack of empathy. They, like I said, you know, um, I feel like I'm a broken record. I'm repeating myself over and over again. Maybe that's what we need to hear. Um, we are great. We are great. And, you know, we are the only person who's going to get us out of this hole, you know? And I don't know. I don't understand, like what it's going to take. I don't know, because like it's like we've got, I mean, I feel like our mind, our brain has been, I don't know, man. Like it's just like it's just really frustrating. Like we know we can do it, you know? We know we can do it. Just like this evening, I wanted to buy some beverages. I said, I'm gonna buy it with with a black person. I'm going to buy it with a Haitian person. Not only just a black person, just in general, to patronize that place. Like we have to have that mindset. We have to have it. And I've learned not to be so emotional. And I apologize for repeating this again. When Once, I've interacted with a lot of white people. I do. When people are talking about like, oh, Joe Rogan, he didn't really mean that. I think people were blowing it out of proportion. So I think being a good little Negro, so like, oh yeah, you're right, you're right. We're just so sensitive, No, no. He fucking did. He did. Have you listened to what he said? This is me having a conversation with someone else that I work with, that I work for. No. He did. Like, like, I said, like, yeah, he looks like a freaking idiot. He looks like a freaking racist. That's what he did. Like, he comparing black people, and says he comparing me and my son like as a monkey, as an ape. Of course, there was silent. There was like not talking to. There was like, no, like, I'm not going to like saying like, yeah, we are too sensitive as blacks. We are this. No, like, no, bro. Like, I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what he says, and just go and look it up on YouTube. It's there, I don't know, man. Like, like, again, not getting suspended. Again, not, only us. Again, I don't know who really said this. Like, they only treat us, mistreat us, not other races, just black people. Not even the people who's like from India. I'm not gonna call them Indian. It's so weird, but some of them are even darker than us. They don't treat them like that. I
Paulette, yeah, I'm gonna go to the last joint because it's kind
Go
of
ahead,
starting
man.
to
Go
get
ahead,
late
go
now.
ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I ain't trying to cut you off, my brother, but yeah,
That's okay, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna show the last thing and then y'all comment on that and then we'll close out, you know what I'm saying? And y'all might not even care about this, but it was interesting to me. But I'm pretty sure we can all agree that no matter how you feel about Obama, that Michelle Obama was the most beautiful first lady in all time of history. And earlier I did a show about, well, not earlier, but before we did a show about critical race theory and how they was trying to remove books. And y'all know that is a white bitch who's mad about Michelle Obama's book to try to lift up young black girls, and she said it's offensive to her daughter, so she wants it to be pulled off the shelf. And I want to show y'all this video. I wanted to get something better, but this was like the only one. So
total shock.
Banned. It's something authors never want to hear about the books they write.
I've written about 200 books over the past, since like 2006.
Heather E. Schwartz is from Burnt Hills and writes children's books for educational publishers.
It might be science, math, social studies, or it might be a celebrity biography that's just meant to draw in reluctant readers.
Books like Michelle Obama, a political icon, published almost 2 years ago as part of a series called Boss Lady Bios.
All the books are just highlighting women that have success in different areas.
She calls it a straightforward book, so was surprised to hear a parent in Texas is trying to ban the book from school libraries.
She felt it portrayed Trump as a bully, and the other had to do with she felt that it was somehow implying that sounding white was a bad thing.
Schwartz says, as an author, she doesn't believe in banning books, but that some good does come of it, as the story generated national headlines Tuesday.
It always kind of goes in the opposite direction, so I'm glad that more people will want to read about Michelle Obama.
It's her understanding the book will not be banned, but regardless, is committed to continue writing.
It feels like feedback that's telling me, do more, put more ideas out there.
all right, now really they're trying to ban Michelle Obama's book, but they showed this white bitch, and that's another issue. A lot of this, like if you go back and read a lot of the history and stuff, especially certain events, is usually white authors behind most of these books. You know what I'm saying? Besides the books that me and Bakari be telling you all about, it's a lot of these like these quote unquote liberal white people who think they're in charge of our oppression. And there's one dude who be trying to give me strikes all the time for showing videos, even though he a white boy showing videos of black oppression. But yeah, they're trying to get Michelle Obama's book banned because it encourages young black girls and makes little white girls feel uncomfortable. But any of y'all got something to say about that one before we wrap it up?
Yeah, let me just go real quick. You know, I I don't know, like we all know the history, a global history of what happened to us, okay? No matter how they censor, I don't have time for like critical race theory, like censoring and and canceling people. We know the history. It shows how ignorant people are. And I was telling, the person that I work for, that I work with and stuff like that, and I know him for a long time, a long time. And I said, do you know, like the original, like the Indians are people that look like me, black. And he like, look at me, I don't believe that. Okay, it's fine. Did you know that the planet, like was black, was black. So if we are from Africa, I am, you are of me. That's just facts. Like I said, I don't have time for ignorance. I don't have time for stupidity. But you know, because what is that gonna do for our freedom and our liberation? Censoring people, this and that, like I will say, Michelle, the first lady, I'm gonna bite my tongue. Um, they had to tiptoes, tiptoes a little. It's not a little bit, Sambo's shucking and jiving. I know Brother Bakari. I'm not saying he's going to agree. He might. He normally contests. He normally, say, say what elaborate on what I have to say. But oh man, like I, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for people who want to censor us. I don't have time. Because like we are in a situation like where we need to wake up and we have to just like put our heads together, and just like in football, just like in basketball, we have a timeout. All right, this is what we need to do. This is where we have to tighten up. But I mean, we just like we're not doing it in real life. We just like
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. What you said, the timeout. Excuse me for cutting you off, but I want to add something to what you are saying. The timeout, we need to do it individually and
Yes.
act right individually, and those that don't act right, avoid them. Avoid them.
Yeah, yes. And honestly though, I'm gonna yield my time, and I just appreciate you guys. Brother Focus, thank you so much. And Brother Bakari and Jose. I'm not sure how you pronounce your last name.
Bronze, like our skin color.
Bronze, yeah, bronze, and brother, and brother supremacy too. I appreciate that. I'm gonna put my mic on mute, and much love to you guys. Okay.
All right, yeah, peace. Thank you, Pledge. Any of y'all got something to say about that?
Of course, they
Yes.
want to ban. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yes, but now, I lost my thought train. I'm sorry, brother Bakara. The mic's on you. I'm sorry.
You see, they want to. She want to ban. What she said? They want to ban the book. She said, making like sounding white, like something is bad. Sounding white, but we're not white. So why should we want to sound white? You understand? That is a bad thing. If that's what you want to be, that's your goal, to try to sound like someone else. There's already a problem amongst us, but she want to say it's a problem because Michelle Obama is not supposed to try to teach young black girls to be proud of themselves. You understand? To be proud to be black. That's her. That's her problem. But they want to censor everything that we do. And when you're behind, as they say, enemy lines, right? When you're behind enemy lines, they're in control. And they do what they are supposed to do. I don't even know the book, but we should have bought the book just on the strength of it being Michelle Obama, I think. But not necessarily bought it, but promoted it because of because of them. We're gonna have to start standing up. And I ain't talking about marching, and that's not what I'm talking about when I say stand up. I'm not talking about marching. That's not what I'm talking about. We're gonna have to stand up.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Agree.
And physically. And that mental fight can't just be, we're gonna stand up and we're gonna outmarch you.
No, present. We have to be present and active.
This is a real war. And that is something that a lot of us don't want to understand. This is a real war. And it's a war on 3 different levels: economic, social, political. But then you can go, it's a psychological war. We're at war. We have to understand warfare or remain in the condition that we're in. And now you're the mic.
Okay. All right. Wow. See. Okay. It's been a long time. First of all, let me say this, man. Since I've been on an open panel like this, so if you start to hear me stumble over my words, man, I gotta train myself to get back, into the groove of things, because definitely, I'm a little bit nervous. It's been a long time since I've spoken publicly on the open panel. But regarding the video that you just played, me first of all, I can only speak for myself. Um, I never would take the side of an outsider over my own people. So regardless if I support the political ideology that the Obamas pushed up in the White House, I'm still not gonna allow white people to try to demonize my people. Now we can disagree on different issues. You could be pro LBGTQ, you know what I'm saying? I'm against it. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna throw you away as a black person, because at the end of the day, you're still a victim of white subjugation and oppression. But we just will have to like what I do, I draw a line in the sand on certain issues. I'm not gonna throw you away as a person, but I will definitely attack, your ideology and your mentality. So you see what I'm saying? So I mean, that's how we have to be as a people. And like I am so glad for platforms like this. Like we need black people, getting up here. Of course, I'm sure all the brothers on the panel, none of us are going to see eye to eye on every issue. But if we could just focus on, some positive things that we can agree on, because I'm sure that all of us here are against police brutality. I'm sure all of us here are against the subjugation of women and children. You know what I'm saying? The murder of innocents. If we could just focus on that, focus on things like that, and just you know, uh, build a bond based off of that. So, like I was saying, man, me personally, I don't have white friends. I've never even considered a white person to be a friend, but that's just me and my own ideology. I'm not trying to speak for anybody else here or anybody else listening. So I'll never let an outsider demonize one of my people. I could cold-heartedly 1000% disagree with this person's philosophy. My main issue is when it comes to like agents of confusion, like people who come amongst the rank and files just to stir confusion. Because you know how it is, like in any organization, I mean criminal or whatever the hell. Like when you come to the door, you get patted down. Is this man wearing any does this man have any hidden cameras? Does this man have any surveillance equipment, any microphones? You know what I'm saying? Is this man wearing a wire? Because you could be just coming amongst the people to go back and relay intel and information to the enemy. Because unfortunately, and I hate to say it, we got a lot of Negroes who, play the German Shepherd role of white capitalism. I mean, well, no, let me take that back. I'm sorry. Like I say, man, I'm stumped. If I begin to stumble over words, man, please excuse me. But you have a lot of Negroes, a lot of black folk who are, the German Shepherd of, white racism. And I mean, man, that is so unfortunate. How could you work against the best interests of your people, man? Please, somebody, after you claim to be well educated, you know all the history, all the oppression that we've been through as a people. Man, a lot of us, and I can't blame black folks for the most part, man. We just hate to look up in the mirror, man. We have been so beat over the head, beat down by this system, treated as subhuman. Like you said, on the Constitution, they labeled us 3/5 of a human being. I mean, no better than an animal. Scurrying down the street, eating out of a garbage can. So I understand why we are psychologically messed up as a people. And on that note, I pass the mic.
Yeah, I agree with you, my brother. Jose, you wanted to say something, and before we wrap?
Yeah, I want to say something that the Obama family, Miss Obama and Mr. Obama, the United States of America never had a leadership. The first couple, I don't know how you call it. America never had a first couple this with a quality this high. You understand? Any one of them had something smelly, and this family had nothing smelly. You understand what no scandals, no tricks, no drugs, no nothing. And Trump Trump enjoyed the work from Obama, all the jobs and whatever. It was created by our brother, but he is the president of the United States, so we can not complain about him doing little for the black community. He was the best president for the United States, not for black people, but for the United States. Anybody that lived in that country. That's one thing. And the sound white factor. I wanna say something positive about it because I like it. Here in the Netherlands, you have various dialects, right? In Amsterdam, they speak different as us in Rotterdam. In The Hague, they speak different. And I enjoy hearing a black person from Amsterdam, because I can hear he comes from Amsterdam. I don't think he sounds white. In my youth, we used to have this reflex. If a black person didn't sound from the city, he sounded like the farmers. He sounded like those smaller cities. Then we used to call him a yo farmer. Like, here a farmer is something is almost synonym as retarded, right? I mean, in high school age. that age that you bully each other, right? So we used to look down upon brothers that used to sound like farmers, right? Because, oh, you sound white. But I sound white also. I have this Rotterdam accent, and the other one had this Amsterdam accent. So we ourselves, we sounded white. And I learned to love it. I learned to hear um, um, an LA accent, New York accent, uh, a brother with a German accent, because it confirms that we are everywhere. Thank you.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that, my brother, absolutely. And I'll say this to what you was just saying, well, to you and Brother Supremacy. Hold on one second, hold on. Oh, damn, I was on mute the whole time. My bad, y'all. My bad. I was on mute the whole time. But I was just saying, Jose, yeah, like when you was talking about talking white, um, like when I say it, and I know you was talking about something completely different, but when I say it, like it's not when you sound intelligent is talking white. Like Richard Pryor used to imitate the people who talk white, but he didn't say big words, you know what I'm saying? It was just the words that, just the way they say it, because we talk with a certain rhythm. Like Bakari, how you say worser, I say worser too, you know what I'm saying? Because the language, this English language is limited and we can't express it but so much. So we do what we can. And as far as brother supremacy, I agree with you, my brother. We need to start focusing on everything that we agree on. Like we all can agree that we don't want our children to be pulled over and, what I'm saying, racially profiled, end up dead. And I think one thing we can all agree on, and y'all can say when we go around to close out, Michelle Obama was the most beautiful black woman in history. You know what I'm saying? So I think we all can agree on that point. So hey Bakari, since you was the first one on here, do you want to close out last or first?
It doesn't make a difference. I'll go first.
Yeah, it's up to you, my brother. I know it's getting late.
I'll go ahead and close
I don't
out.
want to
No, you
keep
know what?
holding
Yeah,
you
I'm
up.
gonna go ahead. Look, I thank you for inviting me on your panel, my man. Good to share the panel with everybody else on here. Brother Supreme, good to see you, my man. Pledge, Jose, uh, the chat. Thank everybody for listening. And yes, Michelle Obama is the prettiest first lady in the history of this wretched country. Yes, she was. Not ashamed to say it. Now I yield the mic. Peace and one love.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, my brother. Definitely. All right. So we'll go in that order. Pelez, you came on first, and then Jose, and then Brother Supremacy. So go ahead, Pelez, to close out. Pelez might be
Sorry,
sick.
sorry. Um, sorry, I was on mute. Honestly, all I have to say is that we've got much work to do. We I don't know, we need to quit doing the same thing over and over again, marching, reform, justice, and all those crap we just need to I don't know, just what I'm trying to say is that I don't know, unity is the key, and we need to, we need to love our brothers and sisters. We need to figure out a code, like Dr. Nelly Fuller says, and quite frankly, I'm disappointed in most of us. We talk about like wealth, Bitcoin, and things like that. Like for an example, if they want to strip like LeBron James of his owning, they can. You know, and if something happened to LeBron James' kids, versus like some other powerful white men's kids, like the powerful white men's kids will get the justice like LeBron James kids won't. And until we understand that, again, this is really what I wanted to say. Hypothetically speaking, if something happens to like Jeff Bezos' kids or what have you, versus LeBron's kids, who do you think is gonna get the justice? That's all I'm trying to say, guys. Okay, and that was a perfect conclusion, brother Bakari. You just said a few words and you were done. Listen, much love to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic.
Yeah, thank you, Pelage. Jose.
I dropped a link to a video that I did. It was an attempt to get onto TED Talk, a Cape Verdean TED Talk, but Cape Verdeans are too scared for proud black people, so I didn't get on. But I dropped the link in the private chat, and I want you to enjoy it. It's about our language. I believe we speak the living word. You know what I'm saying? and and yeah, it's just for us to enjoy, for you to enjoy. Check out the link in the private chat and enjoy. Okay, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I just put it in the chat for anybody who want to see it. So, yeah, that's the video right there in the chat. All right, brother Supremacy.
Okay, yes, sir. Am I being picked up?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Oh, definitely. Well, yeah, to brother Jose, I just subscribed to your channel. So I'm gonna head into your neighborhood, man, check you out, see what type of information that you're putting out here. And I definitely I want to give a shout out, to all the brothers on the panel for sure. But I want to give a special shout out, man, to my big brother Bakari. The reason being is, with this man, this brother has actually changed my mind, changed my mindset. Now, I'm not gonna get into the long drawn out story because we're closing out right here. But as far as like when it came to the usage of the N word, do you know nowadays, like every time I go to saying that word, and I already talked to Brother Bakari about this. Of course, I'm going to respect you brothers' platforms. So I know when to use it and when not to use it. But every time I use that word, it's almost like Brother Bakari is like the conscience. I mean, like my conscience in the back of my mind. And I just think about what this brother was saying. Prior to that, growing up as a child up in the inner city, I didn't have a great life. I mean, I'm fortunate to have made it, so I don't really have any complaints. My life could have been better. I could have been born the son of Michael Jordan, or something like that. I definitely had to struggle during life, and my struggle continues. So growing up, man, I always thought that word was just not a term of endearment, but just a part of black folks vocabulary. So, I definitely wanted to send a shout out to Brother Bakari, man, for educating me, man, on that word. And yeah, man, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. At the end of the day, man, we are all we got. I mean, let's just continue, man. More panels. I'm gonna try to be present more often. You know what I'm saying? We all we got, man. Let's not make the mistake. Let's not wait until white racism, comes knocking on our front door for us to reach out and support pro-blackness. So support black businesses, man, support black media, support black people in your own community. And on that note, peace, man. Peace.
Yeah, thank you, my brother, and shout out to you. And yeah, I can hear Bakari now. Like, yeah, don't call. I ain't nobody's N word. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one. And shout out to all you brothers, and hey, Bakari, power to all the people, my brother. So, but yeah, let me say shout out to Pelej, Jose, Brother Supremacy, Bakari, Erica, Raw, of course, my sister Raw, Jermaine. I appreciate all of y'all for listening and stuff like that. And it was a great show. And like I said, tomorrow, either on, if Bakari feel like it, we'll have this show on capitalism. It could be on his channel or this channel, you know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out. So I definitely want y'all brothers to be a part of that too, because I want to hear everybody's opinion on this capitalism, socialism thing, you know what I'm saying? And Bakari mentioned Garveyism and everybody like that. So we definitely need to have a whole conversation about that. But yeah, I'm gonna play this real quick, this like 30 seconds video, and then I'm gonna wrap it up.
Listen, you gotta come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden. I will. It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP's endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record.
I've been critical.
All right, so there you have it. Every 25 years, you got to extend your voters' rights act. So, that shows you whether you're citizens or not, if they got to extend, because what kind of citizen got to get their voters' right extended? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, thank all of y'all for coming on the show. And this was a great show. I appreciate everybody and everybody's contribution. And hopefully we'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm not used to these 3-hour shows every day, but as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.